We've got game number 1, Arabia. Yo against Winchester. It's going to be a wild set. Yo is starting off with the Chinese. Obviously, on the 9-villager start, we start with minus 100 food with the Chinese, so it becomes a little bit more difficult to balance that start. But they do start with the 3 extra villagers already, and Yo already has 2 boars underneath his TC. Winchester going for the Franks, so a more solid, more consistent approach. This map, Nili, it looks like Yo has 2 woodlines combined. He's got an Omega woodline, and that's it.
Yeah, and nothing at the front.
Nothing.
Right? Impossible to wall. Luckily for him, his main gold is in the back, but look at those resources. Kind of scattered around. Tricky to expand there. He needs to wall that left-hand side, otherwise he's completely open.
And we're talking about the single woodline from Yo. Winchester has 2 woodlines, but that second option is so far forward.
Not pretty. Obviously, main gold there, so kind of working into that direction anyways. Maybe the barrack placement, maybe the stable placements could be something he could think about. And that scout, he ran to the front, now going back. What is that scout doing? Pushing deer at the back?
Where are the deer? The deer are all the way back against the edge of the map there,
That's
right?
2
No,
sheep.
that's 2 sheep. Oh, the deer are all the way to the right. Has he not found those yet?
He will have very poor scouting then. And that is Gaia's point of view. So
Gaia's found them. We are big nature lovers here at NAC4. Thank you, Vodka, for showing us Gaia's point of view. He hasn't found them, Nili. That's why.
And but he scouted the front already. So he knows about the gold. He knows about...
So he went forward to try and lame the Chinese, which can be a viable strategy if you want to deny them food. Because they start with that minus 100 food, right? So even if you take away 2 sheep from them, it can be incredibly punishing. And he has found that Yo's base is really wide open.
Yeah, but like he still didn't scout the woodline, right? There could be another gold in the back that he didn't know of, like something above this woodline, and then the map is so much more wallable. But he at least gets an idea on how the distance is looking.
So Winchester's going to start pushing in those deer, and Winchester is going to hit a timing with Feudal Age. Pretty good timing with 19 villagers. Yo is up with 21 villagers at a similar time, and Yo is going to go for... Is it going to be an archer play, or is it just going to be scouts?
I think scout opening is the typical thing. Negative food. Chinese are 2 and 11 on Arabia.
2 and 11?
That doesn't sound right. Like that's a massive.
That's an incredible stat.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Are they the most overrated civilization? I heard the AM guys talk about it yesterday because they felt like, okay, wow, in random map, Chinese are still clearly top 3. Here, you're kind of losing half a villager up to 1 villager. Like that advantage typically is like you're +2, now you're +1.5 villagers. But that gap is really surprising.
I think it's kind of harder with the Chinese to hit those timings, especially like if you're going for a scout play, we noticed it kind of in the qualifiers. You don't have enough resources, not enough food on the map to get horse collar in time before you place the first round of farms with the Chinese, even if you're going for a scout build. Like a lot of times people are missing that, you know, the extra sheep. Like they have 1 left under the TC, and they have to produce villagers and scouts at the same time. So it's just a harder transition maybe in early Feudal, and that's why the record is the way it is. Yo going for the small walls around the berries. He is going for the stable. No horse collar yet. He does get double bid axe, and like I said, he's only got 1 sheep left under his TC.
Could we check the point of view of Yo? I'm a bit surprised that he scouts the gold and that he has to expect archer build-up, right? And he still small walls his berries. Confirms the archer range now.
Yeah, there it is right there. And Winchester will be playing into an archer opening with the Franks. We're going to see the scouts from our Chinese player, Mr. Yo, double Chinese player. Actually Chinese and playing the Chinese, so no confusion there, of course. And Yo will be heading out across. Winchester almost getting a hit there with the Spearman. That would have been a great opening from him. And Yo is starting to wall towards that gold. He's already walled at the back of the woodline, and he's sending 2 villagers there, so he's prioritizing that. But it's going to be just like 1 archer coming forward and a couple Spearmen, and he changes his wall now.
Way bigger, and I think I like those, right? Because, like, if you directly wall to the gold, archers can still shoot over the walls, and you can never really get onto gold.
Yeah.
So it just feels like it is the right adjustment. Needs to make sure to scout to the edge of the map, though.
It kind of also gives him another wood option, you know, in quotations, if that main wood is cut off. Winchester now applying a little bit of pressure towards that house. He loses some HP on the scout, but the archer is here. And now Yo is going to be under a little bit of pressure at the front. He's providing pressure on Winchester's base. Might be able to get some good picks on the archers, but Winchester, of course, notices that. And Yo's just going to kind of hang around with these scouts.
Ooh, not walling against this, so could be a dead villager if the spearman is a bit on the slower side.
There's
but
a hill there too.
damage is split.
Yeah, and Winchester defends fine and defends calmly on that wood line. Still applying pressure against the berries there, and Yo forced to add farms. He's kicked off those berries. That's still a lot of food that he could really use at the front of his base, but of course Winchester is denying him access to that. He's also gone for an archer range, and he's already queuing up a skirmisher.
Skirm obviously can defend this quite easily, but pushed away from the berries, right? You mentioned it, like farm transition is not that easy, and we don't have horse color. So Yo, even with more food for his farms, it doesn't feel that pretty.
Yeah, it's just the lack of food, right? That minus 100 food really coming into play in this 9-villager start. Attempted gate, and he gets it. Winchester doesn't want those scouts running around, and he's forcing Yo to the middle of the map as he just builds up his archer mass. Archer now looping around to the right side of Winchester, or sorry, of Yo's base. I think Yo is still open on the left near that wood line, but it's going to be tough for Winchester to find that one.
Yeah, would be surprised if Winchester actually scouted to the edge of the map. It's tough to click inside because the front is still open as well. So I would be surprised if it's a too significant overhaul.
And the scout's still looking around. There is one spearman, though, and with the amount of villagers Winchester has, if he keeps that spearman in the correct position, shouldn't be punished by that double house over here, and the scouts won't be able to do any damage unless they get through that, and they are.
Oh, gets the
Nice
quick wall,
wall.
though. But that house could be low. No, not that low. Nice adjustment by Winch.
Yep. Pretty calm opening for how open these maps are for both players. Yo's already locked down his base to some extent. Winchester feeling pretty comfortable against the scouts, and it looks like Yo is going to save that villager. He wanted the food. He came back out for the berries, but Winchester's like, no, no, no. I will keep sending my archers over here. On the other side, though, Yo has found a pretty good engagement against the spearman, and he's going to be chasing that scout away. It looks like he already killed the archer over there, so no harassment on his wood line whatsoever.
Yeah, spearman a bit too aggressive, but actually the only way to use them now is to kind of suicide them. Interesting that Winchester actually gets in there, gets one yoink in, and then runs away. Well, playing with fire.
I don't think he should lose his scout here. Like, he should definitely save this and use it to scout the rest of the map, or to scout, you know, any other production buildings from Yo. I think it's a very valuable unit. And will Yo find these archers? He misses them by one tile on the side, and Winchester is going to come home. Usually you want a spearman accompanying your archers, but obviously the spearmen were out of position, and Winchester gets very fortunate there. The scouts don't find those.
What a reverse wall world in the sense of army composition, right?
Yep.
Winchester, the Frank player, is going full archers against the Chinese player that is going scout skirm.
Yep. Winchester finding the skirmishers now. No armor on those skirms, so it's going to be difficult for Yo to take this fight. Winchester also using his scout, and he snipes that spearman from Yo, and Yo gets only one archer in value from all of that army.
Wow, that was perfect for Winchester. I think if both armies are together, sniping the spearmen, scouts are engaging, Winchester loses everything.
Well, Vinch is going to lose one villager here, so Yo, at least he can feel like he got something out of that, right? Winchester forced to have the army forward. He could snipe a Vill. Yo is going to be able to defend behind with skirmishers. The Eco KD is 1-0 in favor of Yo, and Yo looks to be going up to the castle age here, using the market a little bit. Winchester, resources looking fairly decent. You could argue for a market from him as well, as he's got 10 on gold and 400 in the bank.
Yeah, that could be a good setup for double stable. The thing is, though, against camels, he wouldn't perform too well. We already have the stable, and yeah, now rushes the market with 4 villagers.
Yep. Winchester, of course, does have horse color with Franks, and Yo got horse color late. So the first round of farms do not have that. There are Chinese farms, though, so they should last a little bit longer than a standard civilization.
Skirms could close this distance. Scout still around, and yeah, that scout only having, I think, like 7 HP, but could be the difference maker. Not getting focused down, but too low on HP.
Yep, and the scout is lost. And Winchester, well, I think, like I said before, I think he should have saved that scout and used it a little bit.
He's building a new one.
Oh, I like that. I do like that.
Will it save the archers, though? Skirms are closing down the distance so quickly.
Yo still doesn't have the armor, but against 4 archers, he doesn't care at the moment, and he's going to take those out. Yo's scouts, however, a casualty of his attention being in the north side of the map, and all those scouts are going down on stand ground formation.
Winchester with the 3rd military building there. Oh no, it's Yeah, it should be. No, it's actually the second one, right? He only now had the stable. So it will be double stable set up by Mr. Yo, simply anticipating the double stable from Vinch. And we can maybe confirm at home pretty soon that it is going to be the second stable.
If you're Yo, do you open knights with a couple knights here into camels, or do you just straight go into camels?
I think if I have some skirms left and I know how much I decimated the archer numbers, I go straight camels.
Okay.
If there were higher archer numbers and I fear the crossbows, then I go knights.
Okay. Well, he's taken out a lot of archers here in the interim between Feudal and Castle Age. And Yo is going to hit Castle Age with about a minute advantage over Winchester. Winchester's still 40 seconds away. Yo actually does open up with a couple knights. And we'll see if the transition into camels comes soon. He queues up 2 more, and he goes for the armor as well.
Oh, second armor already has the first attack upgrade. Obviously, Chinese benefit from those cheap upgrades. Can the knight get saved? No, and that Feudal army is actually getting quite some value, more than I expected.
That's no value. It feels like you could have forced this army back without engaging it just by sending the knights to Winchester's base.
Yeah, the difference in timing was big enough there, right? He knew that the army was at the front. Maybe waiting for 4 knights and get the clear up, or send the 2 knights at the front could have been options.
And here come the knights right now. Winchester still doesn't have a full wall like Yo does. He was making do with the small walls, and he has some opportunities to maybe house wall or make some palisades when these knights come in, but he has to be paying attention because the knights are coming right now. Yo is looking for damage, and Yo can maybe sneak in on that gold. He's going to go right past it, though. He's a little bit distracted with the army forward from Winchester.
And remember, yes, forging, reducing the hits that you need against the villager from 5 to 4.
Oh, the TC is going to go up at the perfect moment. Oh, it's going up at the perfect moment. Winchester garrisoning the villagers, and Yo needs to leave, even with that +2. Winchester now on the wall for Mr. Yo. Still doesn't find that hole. How brutal would that be if he went all the way around on the left?
Yeah, but how can you, right? It's still open. If you click inside, they go through the center there, and you simply see how good it is for Mr. Yo that he rebuild those walls. Otherwise, he would have been off gold now.
Yo with a Scorpion, and this is a very Yo defense. He's got 2 stables, archer range, siege workshop. He's just got 1 Scorpion behind walls, and he's going to hope that that does damage while he counter raids his opponent. And it looks like he got good damage against that knight from Winchester. Winchester is queuing up a monk now, so he wants to maybe heal up his units, and of course the monk would find value against the knights from Mr. Yo. And he's added a 3rd TC already, so you can see the consistency in the Frank Eco. Just so easy to transition to that boom.
Well, Mr. Yo builds another lumber camp. That's so surprising to me. Like, at this point, I would always go for the extra town center, right? Like, you had enough wood, he went for eco upgrades and rebuilds them at the left-hand side, kind of indicating he wants to play 1 TC for way longer than I would have anticipated.
And he's still tracking this army, so he thinks this army is a big threat. He's going to come over with the knights once again. He does have the +2 armor and forging advantage over Winchester, but Winchester, of course, with those crossbows, so he's making things a little bit more difficult than if he was just playing knights. And Winchester, of course, really good farming eco behind this as the Franks, and he's got that 3 TC setup, and all 3 TCs are pumping out villagers.
Finally.
He is house, though, as I say that.
Yeah. Finally, the extra town center here. The thing is, like, where are we building our 3rd town center? Maybe at the front there, trying to get onto stone. Could be something where the knights are chilling. Now some healing here. Maybe over there next to the golden wood. I think you eventually want to go onto castles on hills, so I wouldn't mind going for the front there. Mr. Yo decides to go for some raiding.
It might have just been like full army commitment, keeping it at home just so he could get that position on the gold. Yo had like identified that earlier. He wanted to chase the army away and then delayed the TC until he could get one up over there. Wants to like doubly secure that wood line.
How did we only lose 1 single villager this game?
I don't know, because Vinch has been playing open like this. Yo hit Castle Age with like a 1.5-minute advantage. If those 2 knights came forward, I think Vinch loses a couple more.
Or if the TC goes up 10 seconds later,
yeah.
loses like 3 builds.
Oh, yeah, true. Monk trying to sneak back. There are Shh.
Nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening. They don't see. 1 tile away.
But now they could get double kill.
No. No way, dude! 1 tile away, and Yo's just going to be like, take my Scorpion, take it, I don't care. He's taking an engagement back here, but there's 2 monks from Winchester. There goes 1 knight over to Winchester's side, and he's trying to convert another one, but Yo will escape for the time being. And Yo is raiding underneath the TC. This is something you can do with that +2. And I know Yo a lot of the times isn't scared to run under TC fire. He'll get the +2 early just so he can provide that pressure. And he's going to keep doing it if Winchester doesn't full wall.
And for a player that has that many crossbows, it's a bit surprising that Winchester didn't commit to botkin, right? Especially with the town center defense, helps out quite a bit as well. Spearmen actually gathered inside there. Now they're sent out to deal with the raid. And more knights at the top, forcing idle time.
This is such a Yo style of play, right? Like, he's full walled at home. He's got a couple TCs, even added the third a little bit further forward on a wood line. Got the +2 early, and now he's just keeping Winchester's army at home. Winchester has 31 military. Yo only has 18, but Winchester is constantly responding to the raids from Mr. Yo. So great pressure coming in from Yo on this game. He loses another 2 knights to conversions, which is unfortunate, but he's causing all sorts of havoc here.
Oh man, and that's the difference, being walled against not being walled, right? And the knight numbers were relatively similar, now even an advantage for Winchester, but it's just so much easier for Yo to dictate where he wants to raid.
Yep. So Winchester with a decent amount of knights now. 15 knights. He still only has the +1 armor and no forging from him. So Yo still has the advantage in upgrades, but Winchester obviously with the numerical advantage right now. But here comes another group of knights.
Yeah.
In on the TC from Winchester, and Winchester, he has to have a headache just playing against this, because every single time he thinks he's pushing back, he sees another blue army loop into his eco.
And now Yo, I think it was even resources collected, and now he's over 1,000 ahead because simply the work efficiency went down. Winchester constantly having idols, and it's not because he's sloppy. It's simply because he has to save those villagers from the night raids. And
behind this, Yo getting all his eco upgrades, so it's exactly even between the two players here. He did get heavy plow, he did get bow saw, and he did get wheelbarrow. And now his economy is booming, and he has access to 3 separate wood lines at the moment as he goes up to that stone. It's a little bit of a risky stone, but if he keeps Winchester focusing on his own base, he can get away with it.
And Knights obviously have very little vision, although Frank's more vision there, so it could be nice for Winchester to find the raid. That should be a reasonable defense, Knights v Knights, and yeah, Yo thinks better of it.
I think Winchester needs some upgrades on his Knights. Like, Yo is adding in camels now, and Vinch has just never been able to take a fight in equal numbers in this game. And this is a fight he doesn't want to take. Like, he needs to back up from that.
Needs the conversion, returns the favor. This could be the first villager of the game. No, it didn't even happen.
Yeah, Yo clearing up some knights over on the right side too. And he's defending at home with camels and with that TC fire. And Yo has full control of the map. Winchester went for that 4th TC earlier. Still no walls though. He doesn't have the opportunity now. And maybe should have done it earlier. Would have helped him out a bunch, as he can't quite find an opening into Yo's base, and he's going to lose another monk. Oh, this is so unfortunate.
Oh, but there are some overwatch opportunities there, because those villagers could die. Now diving in relatively deep here, but against 3 monks defense, I don't think this will be too efficient.
Yeah, and camels, of course, aren't as efficient as knights killing villagers, so even with that +2 armor, it's going to be hard to find value. And Winchester finding value with a big fight in the center. Looks like he's going to clear that up. Still being raided at home, though. Eco KD is now 12-3 in favor of Yo. And the knights at the back are being dealt with as Yo continues to chop away at the wood there and mine that stone in the front.
Okay, now let's take a look here. Camels, as you mentioned, not that great. Knights trying to move back a bit, and pikeman defense obviously should be very reasonable. Mr. Yo with 8 on stone. I wouldn't be surprised if he heavily commits, like 12, 14 on stone, and gets a nice castle in the center of the map.
You know what? If he gets a castle on that wood line from Winchester, he doesn't have any other options.
Front, yeah. Then
he doesn't have any other options.
Bottom, but that's far away and unprotected.
Well, I mean, this is a pretty good fight for Mr. Yo if he wants to get a forward castle position. We know he's not afraid of doing that. Just cleared up a bunch of knights on that hill. I think I see 5 red bodies on that hill and no blue.
How did he do that? Is it all the upgrades?
I think it's just the upgrades, man. And I think Winchester is now putting his food and gold into upgrades for his pikemen. And pikeman production, it's very, very difficult for him. You can tell how much pressure he's under as Yo keeps giving knights away to conversions, but he's not losing them in the fights.
How many stables are we having here for Mr. Yo? It feels like production is really on point. Look at that. Added
5
another
stables?
3 at the front. Yeah, he knows. His opponent is open, right?
Yep.
Those knights are guaranteed to do damage.
Yeah. Diving in to take out the monk. It looks like he's just fighting against pikemen, and because he has the 5 stables, he knows he can replace these units. And the knights are just clearing everything up here, Nili. Mr. Yo is on fire. Winchester going for a 5th TC. Still no walls whatsoever for him, and he doesn't have enough stone yet for a castle.
And a Frank player forced to buy food here to finally get the first attack upgrade. And more knights at the 5th TC as well. He's raiding everywhere.
And look, he's denying the TC. Oh my goodness, Mr. Yo. 3 TCs behind this, just killing villagers left and right, killing army left and right. KD is 91 to 56 right now. Eco KD is 23 or 21 to 3. That is ridiculous. Mr. Yo is proving the stat wrong for the Chinese on Arabia.
Yeah, well, obviously he didn't contribute a lot to those stats, right? He waited through.
He played one qualifier.
Yeah. And didn't go for a lot of games.
He might have the 2 wins. We'll have to check. Under another TC is Mr. Yo, and there's not enough knights there to defend. He just leaves now, and Winchester still being denied off that TC in the north, the 5th TC, I believe, as Mr. Yo is sending villagers forward. Is it a castle on this wood line?
Oh, light cap into the monks. What a beautiful play.
Oh, look at that castle. Oh, I love that castle. I love it. It's got a hill. It's on the only wood. It's on the farms. It's on a TC.
Blocks the stables, gets to the gold. Yeah, that's just such a beautiful one. And he has so much control. Look at that. 12 more knights in the queue.
There's a panic castle from Winchester. Panic castle from Winchester, but Mr. Yo has 5 stables. Pumping knights, he's still trying to deny that 5th TC. Villagers dying left and right. It's 48 to 3 Eco KD now.
And he's not stopping here. Look at that. So many dead bodies, and more of those will die. I'm not even sure if the castle goes up.
Mr. Yo only sent, what, 7 villagers forward to build that castle, and it goes up on Winchester's face. Winchester calls the GG, and Mr. Yo, just another day at the office. If you're not going to wall against Yo on Arabia when he was playing Knights, you're going to get punished for that.
Oh, yeah.
Badly.
What's the option there? What can you do? Like, he had enough town centers to save his villagers. He had monks at home. He went for pikemen.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that could have added a bit more for his defense was Botkin. But honestly, like, that's not the dream scenario. Just Mr. Yo completely out of control.
Yeah, I guess Botkin, not only for the crossbows, but for the TCs there, especially when Mr. Yo gets +2 really early. If you don't have Botkin, you're doing nothing to those knights with the TCs. Whew. That's like just classic Mr. Yo play right there. He gets the walls down just in time to stop the archers. He actually repositioned his wall to give himself more space and to secure his gold. And then once he gets the raids, figures out Winchester's wide open, he just uses the mobility, and Vinch can't come forward with his army. He can't. He has to keep it at home.
Yeah. There was the one timing. Did he maybe lose too many archers? But like even
to
if
those
he
skirms,
keeps, but even if he keeps the archers,
them,
yeah,
he needs to wall either. I think he needs to wall that right side somehow. So the knights can't go around there, and then you funnel them to the left. And then you can upgrade your crossbows or keep building them, have a few knights of your own coming forward to raid, potentially. But you just need some area of your base. You don't need to be full wall, but you need some area where you can have a comfort level that he's not going to show up there.
Okay, wild thought process. If he scouts his map better, like it's not scouting Mr. Yo, but does like 2 more circles around his, or 1 more circle around his own map.
Maybe he can formulate a game plan earlier.
And he goes for the front wood line. Because he knows, okay, my base will be more condensed. Right? He's not dying to archers because he's going for archers himself anyways. And then it's like gold and wood in the same area. Obviously, mid-castle gets ugly. Still, you need to expand, but then it's the second wood line where he built the 5th CC. And it's like working towards the opponent. But if you go archers, you don't mind that too much.
I like the different approaches there. Obviously, the civs play out very differently, and you're always going to play a more defensive style with Chinese. But both players had a very open map. Of course, Yo had that big, long, beautiful wood line, but there was nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. And he made the long wall all the way to the edge. Winchester just choosing to play tight and just getting punished.
And they are in the game, at least that's what it looks like. They are with all the clicking. And Winchester with 2 till 3 archer raids. Didn't really work. Mr. Yo was too wall to...
I think it was 2 to 3 spearmen and 1 archer. 1 archer, no fletching coming in on those berries. And Yo just weathered the storm. Now we go on to Outcrop. We've already seen arguably the best game of the tournament so far on Outcrop. Between Liereyy and Jordan yesterday, so I'm excited for this one. Yo playing as Cumans, Winchester playing as the Britons. And the Britons can be extremely good on this map. There's, I believe, 8 extra cows on each side, and the Britons get a bonus on herdables. Also, the TCs are cheaper to place in the Castle Age, so you could go for a boom. And we all know about the British archers, very, very dangerous. And this is a map where you will wall, and there's potential to have a big archer mass in Castle Age.
This is so strategic. Like, I think we could have like Reddit threads over Reddit threads trying to analyze this matchup, like humans with the extra town centers, better economy, and I really want to see how Winchester thinks about this and how he wants to approach this. But also on the other side, Mr. Yo, he could open army into the TC or directly go for the extra town center.
Or he could go, I've seen it before, he could go for a forward. He could go for a forward and then have the 2 TCs booming behind. Like the tower rush, like a Men-at-Arms tower rush kind of opening.
Against Britain's Men-at-Arms tower rush.
We'll see.
The thing is, no, you can't because you don't have stone at your starting base.
Oh, that's right. The stone is on the outside. That's a good point. That's a good point.
But that also means if you go to the outside and get stone, your opponent can only do 1 defensive tower.
Yeah.
But still, if they go into archers, it's just tricky for you. It's not really like playing to your strengths of your Cuman bonus.
Someone did do that in the qualifiers, though. I remember that, a game with humans going forward. Yeah.
Well, we had it on Fortified Clearing just yesterday. Yeah. Outcrop are being the second least picked map. It's the most popular leftover at 17 times. Oh, it's so the most played game 1.
Yeah, because that would be always the last pick map in the pool, right? Yeah.
So is that... Can we conclude that it's the most fair map? The least hated map?
I think the least hated, yeah. I wouldn't say that equals most fair, but least hated.
Least hated map.
Yeah.
So
I like to see that. It's kind of like the Dave of maps, you know? The least hated.
Okay.
Not most loved. Just least hated.
I'll take it. Oh, okay.
So it's a Drush. Two militia Drush, and this is something that Winchester pioneered probably 2 years ago, and it's never left us.
KOTD.
Oh, that was the tournament of 2 militia Drush. Winchester, TaToH were just going ham with that. And Winchester sometimes even goes 1 militia. You know, he just goes for those mind games or adapts on the fly. We got the militia coming in now towards the berries. Mr. Yo will likely go for that second TC, or does he go for a stable first?
Oh, Villager a bit in danger here, but has his own scout out. He doesn't even have barracks, right? So it's the extra town center, and Winchester plays Drush into fast castle behind this.
Okay, and he knows that Yo is going to be delayed to get military onto the field. Because he has to go for that second TC. It builds very slowly in comparison to a town center that you would drop in Castle Age. But once it goes up, Yo's economy is really, really going to start gaining steam here as Winchester trying to find value with this rush. And Yo able to defend, and he hasn't even lost any HP on his scouts, so it's a pretty good defense here from Yo. The Drush not causing all that much idle time.
I actually believe the scout for Mr. Yo is not achieving anything here, and he should scout the outside, because there's so many herdables, and it's just so much easier to boom here with having another extra, like, 6 scouts.
You also want to find, like, the closest stone to your base if you want to go out there.
Yeah, also for the long game setup, And I think he sends the scout out now to the top. I love that.
I don't think, if we look at Winchester scouting, I don't think he's even gone out to the edges. I think he just came straight across, right?
It's kind of weird, because one of the reasons
you
you're
play
playing
Britons. Yeah, like he went out. Maybe he found a couple cows when he went out that side, but...
Looked like 2 maybe? It's not too special. Yeah, too many here, unscouted.
And Winchester's still playing full open here. He knows for the next couple minutes, Yo won't have military on the field as he makes his way up to Feudal Age, and he looks to be in a position where he can click up to Castle pretty quickly. But Winchester not even like adding houses at the front or beginning to build those walls just yet.
Doesn't care. Obviously, archer range will be placed there, blacksmith maybe as well, and then you're kind of safe at the front. Could add town centers at home if he wanted to. More likely, probably 1 archer range into a forward siege workshop. Is that a thing?
Against humans, it could be, unless Yo goes for
scouts.
Scouts, yeah. Which is very common, right? You're already making your way onto many farms with humans, and delaying your Castle Age isn't the worst thing in the world, because you just want to prevent yourself from dying to an early Castle Age push. And scouts could be the answer for that, especially if you have a suspicion that Winchester is going to drop 2 extra TCs when he reaches Castle Age, scouts could be a big play for map control.
Yeah.
But
Look at the resources for Winchester. Like, he reaches Feudal Age basically with the resources to click up instantly.
Yep, but he has no cows underneath his TC now, Nili.
He's sending in 2 more, now 4 more even.
Okay, that's fine.
And yeah, that will fly in. And whoo, look at that. That's us.
Big walls. Big walls from you. Oh, that is us.
That's you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So I'm not allowed to be leaning in like this anymore?
Yeah, I will allow it.
Oh, okay.
I will allow it.
Cows show up at the perfect moment. A little bit late maybe, but cows arrive precisely when they mean to. And Winchester now sending 2 villagers forward. There it is. So exactly what you suspected.
Those are relatively early though, right? Like they'll arrive there in a minute?
I think he's probably going to have to like build a house or something.
Yeah. Just to not get the feeling of them being idle.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Drush still tiny bit annoying. Walls will go up, but he can attack from the top area, right? And with the hill advantage, Mr. Yo can never expand towards the top, and he will easily get broken by the Mangonels.
Yo going for a market now at the top. He's trying to figure out that wall, but like you said, there's the hill there. It's just where Winchester will place that siege workshop, and if he's going to scout this, and I don't think Yo's walls are going to go up in time. As an archer comes in with the spearman, Yo is going to have to retreat to that town center, and now Winchester has a perfect little alleyway here to assault both town centers.
And that's what I said early on, right? Winchester's just so clean with his build orders. He arrives 10 seconds earlier than everyone else in the world. And like, Mr. Yo, he knows the timings against all the players. But now it's open. And Mr. Yo could be in problems. Can't really go for a defensive tower here. And that will be an ugly Feudal Age commitment.
And if you're looking at the villager count right now and you're thinking Yo should be miles ahead in economy, just check out the resources collected. Look at Vodka, he's way ahead of me. And Winchester is actually ahead at the moment. It will catch up in the next few minutes. But Winchester has the Castle Age transition. He's going for that siege workshop, and he's already got army here too. So Yo is going to be under all sorts of pressure, and it's going to take time for that extra eco to kick in.
But Yo idled. Look at that. He was at 10 seconds, I would say like 2 minutes ago, right? And he idled both of the town centers, and I think now against this army...
He should go for a siege workshop here in Feudal Age to be ready, right?
He can go for one, but he can also just go for 4 step lances. This is not a scary army.
Winchester needs more archers forward for sure. Maybe
Spearmen.
Even Spearmen, yeah. Maybe you could make an argument for adding a monastery if you see that stable come up.
Look at the militia scouting the site. He wants to see if you're going for the siege workshop or the stable.
Yep.
But the vision isn't there. Now
there's
the
stable. Good vision from Winchester. He's just deliberately trying to figure out what his opponent is going for. Winchester still with the archers at the front, getting the crossbow upgrade now. He does not have Bodkin yet. It doesn't matter at the moment, but it might matter in a minute when Yo reaches Castle Age. And Yo is now going for a second stable. So it's going to be a couple Step Lancers here. And the Step Lancers can just run in, snipe that siege, run away. And once the siege is gone, there's really no threat from these crossbows.
Only fletching crossbows as well. We already have Bloodlines.
An early siege workshop, I love that.
Yeah, 1 Mangonel will be totally fine, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you have the extra range being Britons, but if it's only fletching, it's basically a generic crossbow.
Mr. Yo now just starting to pull ahead in total resources collected. Beautiful gate there from him. Winchester, though, gets some vision on that second stable. And he's going to get vision on that siege workshop behind. Winchester also going for a TC on the outside. Still no Bodkin arrow for these crossbows.
Just so costly, right? Would have the resources for it. Double Mangonel should not stack next to each other. Nice snipe there. Cuman's faster moving scout really helping out here.
I love this transition from Yo. Like, he's got the siege workshop out already. So he goes for 2 knights instead of Step Lancers, and he's going to go for that Mangonel immediately. So the timing on the defense is going to be there. And of course, the villager count is still 47 to 36, so Yo has the advantage. Here comes the Mangonel. Winchester, though, knowing that this is coming out.
Okay, and Knights without any armor upgrades, thinking about getting something done, and that's already a good ground attack to start it off.
So Yo's just going to go forward with those Knights, and Winchester is going to see that. So Winchester's going to be a little bit nervous here. Yo is pretty confident he can defend with just a couple Mangonel. Just one Mangonel. Doesn't even have another in the queue.
Let's take a look here. The Mangonel dance. Would love to take a look at how Winchester's maneuvering this one. Obviously wants to have the crazy range and...
Oh, that's how he's maneuvering it. Right into the shot of the Mangonel. Perfect timing there, Nili. Well done.
Oh, that one has to hurt for sure. Still trying to dance, and he did not see those knights coming. Now, they will be pretty ugly to see. Should go up, though.
Oh, just another right-on-time TC. Similar to the first game, but Winchester maybe distracted with that raid, and Yo actually went for an attack ground there. If he had just right-clicked, he would have got that Mangonel. But he was giving too much credit to his opponent, maybe, as he's trying to take out this last one. Yo is trying to go 2-0 on the Mangonel trades. He did lose his raiding force forward, and he still keeps his Mangonel alive somehow.
Crazy, but now it's
not
a big shot, double kill!
Winchester, big kill there. And now it's 2-1 for Winchester, so Yo is going to have to queue up another one. He's only got 2 knights in the queue as well, with no upgrades other than bloodlines. So Yo is still under pressure.
Vinch on 3 TC with 1 villager on food right now. Look at those. Those are idle. The farms just finished as well. He will skyrocket with idle TC time.
Yeah, 3 on food. Idle TC time racking up, as you said. He's going to have to take some of that extra hunt on the outside, I think, would be really, really valuable to him. Or just get more farms down as Yo tries to take out 2 Mangonels. Winchester splits away, and now the Mangonel trades are at 2-2.
More
Winchester.
How much gold does Yo have left on his second mine there? That's something I would love to know. It will be 1,800 in total, 700 there.
Okay, that's enough for another couple minutes. Might get worrying after a while, though. And Winchester, I think this is really nice what he's doing in the south. He's kind of tracking if Mr. Yo is leaving with villagers.
And that's a converted knight, right?
Yep.
Oh, perfect use. Because the knight is not really contributing anything at the front here, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's so clever.
That's amazing. That's really great game sense from Winchester, and at some point soon, Yo might try to sneak villagers out there. He's sneaking to the north side, though.
And there's nothing. I think Winchester thinks he controls that area, but Yo, just so slippery.
Knights coming in from Yo once again to Winchester's economy. He's not using them in defense, and we'll see what Winchester has at home here. He's got a couple TCs with Bodkin. Mr. Yo doesn't have any armor on those knights. He can't dive under them like the first game. Still defending with a Mangonel, and Winchester needs to be very careful here. If he takes his eye off this area for 1 second, he can get absolutely nuked.
And so much easier to be the defender here, right? Because you can dictate, okay, when do I want to move in? When do I want to take those shots?
And you can always fall back to the TCs too. Winchester's got to be a lot more careful than that. Yo just straight up goes for the attack, but Winchester moving out of the way, and Yo goes for that TC. I don't think Winchester can see this yet, but he might be able to see it if the villagers go on stone.
Yeah, seems like it. And now this will be interesting for Mr. Yo. He has to wait so much. The only defense that he really has right now is the Mangonel. That's not even out yet.
He's trying to find value with the knights going forward. You can definitely see the game plan for him, right? He's like, I want to be able to pick off villagers or force the army back with my knights forward, and I'm just going to hold on with Mangonels. But he's not getting good enough trades with his Mangonels, and he's finding no value with those knights.
That's 3 monks behind. Yeah, the knights can't do anything.
No, they can't do anything. They cannot engage here.
They're just even pressuring. Oh, this is tricky. Mangonel needs to get a good shot off. Doesn't even get a proper one.
Oh, Winchester not realizing that TC is there, and the knights are coming over. Winchester's going to lose a couple villagers, just 1 villager. But Yo has just let him know of another target that he could hit if he ever gets pushed back from this area. Yo is going out now, trying to repair that Mangonel, trying to hold on. He's got 2 more Mangonels in the queue, and his knights still are finding no value.
Yeah. Really nice defense there by Winchester. Obviously, Bodkin helps out with counter them. Dives in deep. Not sure about that one. I'm holding my breath.
Will Yo be able to get that other Mangonel? He does not, and those Briton archers take out the Mangonel from Mr. Yo. He pops out with another one, gets a couple crossbows killed, but the amount of resources that Yo has spent, like repairing this TC and idle time hanging out inside that TC is insane. Winchester, so much pressure here, and he's not too far behind in total res collected, considering the fact that he's been behind on Vills forever.
Scouts don't want to commit. And just imagine...
Villagers, stop being blocked!
Mangonel shot. Oh, this is so tight.
Yo gets it, and Yo survives with that one. Not for long, though. Vinchester sniping it down. That extra range from the Britons really coming in handy as Yo still trying to raid with these Knights. Still no armor on those Knights, so he can't stay under the TC for any extended period of time. Gets another one there from Vinchester. Vinchester's going to dive for that. I don't think that's wise. He loses a couple crossbows, but that's it. It's actually pretty good engagement for him.
And for a casual viewer, just to get an idea how intense this game is, those are two of the best macro players in the world.
Yep.
They control everything at the same time. And at the right column, at the bottom right.
What a big raid!
Ooh.
The Knights are finding value, and Vinchester doesn't realize what's happening. Dead bodies everywhere. Vinchester not garrisoning, finally garrisons. But those Knights with 10 kills now, and I'm pretty sure all 10 of those kills are villagers.
Yeah, and that's aiding my story that I wanted to say, right? There's just so much happening. You can't focus everywhere. Idle TC time, raids were efficient as well. The pressure is on for both so heavily.
Vinchester now going for another TC in the south. He's tracking the villagers from Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo has Knights there, though. Vinchester has to be very careful with this town center. Mr. Yo's like, just control this area. He doesn't quite see the foundation over there as Yo heads in now again into Vinchester's economy, and Vinchester does the same. However, there's nothing to be found here.
This looks risky. Like, those can easily be trapped, right? He knows the opponent has more mobility. You can easily run into a Mangonel
If he's
shot.
paying attention in the north when these Knights come into the TC, he might get nuked. Or he's paying attention to the crossbows and doesn't notice the raid again. He does. Amazing play from Vinchester.
Oh, that was crazy, right? How Mr. Yo is trying to force the mistakes from Winchester, but he's so aware.
Yeah, Vinchester is super deadly. With a crossbow army. He doesn't even lose a crossbow to that shot, maneuvering out of the way at the last possible second. Loses one to the Mangonel there. He's diving again, trying to get it. He won't quite get it this time. There is one TC from either player on the north and the south side, and now Yo is going for a castle against that TC from Vinchester, and I don't think there's anything Vinch can do about that, as Yo now sends Knights back in defense for the first time. All of his Knights have been going forward, trying to raid. Now he feels like Vinchester's in a position where maybe the Knights can come back, take out that Siege Workshop, and force the Mangonel to ungarrison.
Yeah, and I thought, like, wow, he can never take that engagement without armor, right? But yeah, taking out the Siege Workshop makes so much sense there. Nice awareness. Nice awareness. Awareness by Mr. Yo.
Vinchester, though, is forcing Yo to move around his base. I think those villagers have been back and forth a couple times, and you can see the res collected is getting closer and closer here. The villager count is even after all of those raids from Vinchester. Eco KD is 14-4 in favor of Yo as Yo tries to take out the monks. One more attack round. If Vinchester doesn't notice, oh, 2 monks going down, maybe 2 more. No, he goes for the crossbows instead, but still, that makes that army a whole lot easier to kill.
Misclick there. He sent the villagers, but they were idle next to it. Oh, tricky. And, like, still 2 monks. Still scary.
And there we go. He's accomplished what he wanted to with those Knights, and he's going to force the Mangonel outside and kill it, maybe. Does get a Knight converted. Not worth the trade. Not worth the trade, I don't think.
It's kind of interesting, like, how both players split up completely, right? Both players building one town center at each area, and that simply should be better for the player with higher mobility.
Do you think Vinchester is going to castle the south? He's castling the north. So he's going to contest the castle from Mr. Yo instead of going for a forward castle on the TC from Yo in the south.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it would be just so much easier, less risk of denial, and you're taking a full area to yourself if you go for the one in the south.
But if you split up the map half-half and simply accept that, as I said, like, typically it is better for the player that has more raiding potential, has the more mobile units. So Winchester tries to force the issue at one single spot. That's where Britain shines.
Does he even see the TC in the south from Yo? That's a good question.
No, he didn't.
He only saw the villager. Okay, so now he's sending the crossbows over. He still doesn't realize that villager is there. That guy needs to go home. Winchester now sees the hunting villager, and he has exposed the economy down there from Mr. Yo. So Winchester didn't even have that target in mind when he was thinking about the castle placement.
And this area completely cleared up now. First armor upgrade finally there. Wouldn't be surprised if we see
The Imperial Age timing from Winchester here is
Oh,
kind
I
of
didn't
insane.
realize.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. And we look at Yo's economy, he's just nowhere near.
No.
Like, if he wants to contest that castle seriously in the north, he's going to have to go for something like Capped Ram.
Yeah. But, like, he's not thinking about that.
Exactly. Because I don't think he suspects that Winchester's already up to Imperial H. Like, that's a crazy timing with 96 villagers and all the pressure and all the raids and everything that's been happening. Mr. Yo coming into the eco again. There's a lot of exposed farmers back there. He finally has the +1 armor on his knights, and he's going to find some picks, force some idle time. Don't think this is enough, though. Winchester has just extended his economy so much.
Crazy, right? How he's close to 100 villagers there as well. Mr. Yo actually found quite some, and yeah, resource collected. Now basically even.
Knights still denying the farms. Winchester will open with trebuchets for sure, probably with Bracer as well, as he's cutting off that castle in the south, and he goes for another castle of his own. And Mr. Yo is just out of luck down here. He's completely exposed once this castle goes up. There's still villagers dying back in Winchester's base, but Imperial Age is coming in, and once again, Yo is nowhere close.
And yeah, he just went for the second armor upgrade, now going for forging. So he knows, okay, I'm heavily committing to Castle Age. Now imping, and Mr. Yo, yeah, he gives a face of approval like that. Well, that's a fast imp.
That's a good one. So what's the decision making here for Yo? If you see your opponent's Imperial Age timing like that, you look up at your resources, you got 100 gold in the bank. Do you just go all in Castle Age here?
Yeah, mass knights,
Okay.
and probably add like 4 archery ranges and pray that the opponent is mismicroing and somehow kill 20 crossbows with 20 scouts.
He is killing quite a few villagers with these raids, right? Like, it is a good start. And once again, Winchester playing full open. And now the gold is exposed. Like, he's just trying to hide inside the TCs, but Yo is punishing him big time. Eco KD is 34-6, and these are +2 knights. And those crossbows are looking pretty vulnerable over there. A lot of weak crossbows in there, too. Ballistics coming in. Bracer is not.
Wow, and that's still a Castle Age v Castle Age fight, right?
Yep.
And that's like 10 crossbows already going down, and Yo's still chasing.
Oh, if he gets over to that wood line, too, that'd be absolutely brutal for Winchester. Down to 92 villagers now, Winchester. He had the advantage. He was probably like 6 or 7 villagers ahead. He was up above 100. Now he's down to 94. He is trebbing down the castle from Mr. Yo, but Yo, with a ton of +2 knights on the field, is finding a lot of value.
Damn, and now needs to buy food and wood here on this map where like you typically have really strong food and wood economies and try to fight on the outside gold. So Winchester really spread thin, and look at that, it's kind of a repeat of game 1, the full raiding party of Mr. Yo.
And Winchester is going for longbows here. Longbows are great, but the thing about longbows is Yo gets more villagers in the raid, is you need like one place to fight with them. And he doesn't really have that one place because Yo just keeps picking away. He's going to have to send units back in defense, and the knights can come in, snipe the Treb, and then maybe even kill a bunch of those longbows if Yo wants to hang around. He just decides to leave.
Yeah, too likely that longbows would have jumped into the castle, and then the knights just take so much more damage, tries to raid again. And Mr. Yo, with the options that he had, felt like great decision-making.
Yeah, and he's just always there, isn't he? Like, every time Winchester looks in the back of his base, there's some knights from Mr. Yo. Winchester, though, with a great counter raid here with these crossbows, and oh, baby, he could do a lot of damage here. Yo noticing right away, though. He will run away. Unfortunately, the villagers blocking themselves, and a couple of them will go down. Winchester with a good idea, Yo with a good reaction.
Mr. Yo is so low on gold that he's forced into light cap now. Only 9 villagers on gold, got pushed away from the bottom, got pushed away from the top as well. Is now going for some more repair on the castle at the top, but it's going to be tricky to hold this.
Yeah, he's still holding on to that castle, though, and the snipe on the Treb early was very, very important there. So Winchester is forced to go for a second castle. Yo is just kind of trying to delay until he gets up to Imp, and it seems like he's plateaued at that around 105 villager count. He's been there for a while, and Winchester is just holding him there. And Winchester is back up to 110.
And Yo not producing villagers for quite some time, which is surprising. Like, how? What's the reasoning there? It has to be a macro mistake, right?
Those are some wonderful farms from Mr. Yo, north of that castle. Some absolutely beautiful farms. I don't. He's not playing Khmer.
Obviously lost the town center there. But
where is he going? That villager, where is he going?
That's a long trip.
Okay, all the way to the TC, I see.
Oh, yeah, okay. We at least got that to see. Just imagine those were 2 mining camps. He goes to the home base.
Chemistry now coming in for Winchester, trying to fully upgrade his archers. That's a wonderful spot for those longbows to sit in, and they have so much range as well. And Winchester finally has that one area that he can contest with the longbows, and he's got the trebs to really force the issue. Mr. Yo, I think this is his only gold. that he can access currently?
I think so. Yeah. And already market prices are pretty bad, right? I think he only gets 40 wood per 30 gold per wood. As you can see, now Winchester heavily buying because the prices are so good.
And the longbows are at home. Sorry, the crossbows are at home to defend all the upgrades almost in here for Vinchester. And Mr. Yo's TC is going to be under threat, and his gold no longer accessible. He's going for the final armor for his light cav, and that's just like his final hope, right? I'm going to add farms. You can see he's up to 51 right now.
Love it.
So decent macro behind, but he's got to do a lot of damage with the light cav flood. So much so that he can sneakily access gold maybe in the south, or somehow take back this area in the north as he goes for the snipes on the trebs. Chemistry is in. Bracer is in. He's going to get one treb. I don't know if he can get the second one here. It looks like he will.
Okay, nice. Buys himself quite some time. Nicely timed also with the armor there. Just finished like 2 seconds into the fight and, well, got the kills, bought himself a bit of time.
But the longbows can still range that gold.
Yeah.
You're still not, like, even if you take out the trebs, you're saving the TC for the time being, but you still need gold access.
And how is he getting that? Like, so much map vision. If we take a look at Winchester, what he sees, like full control at the bottom with double castle. Yeah. Look at that, he sees everything.
The only place
everywhere.
Yo could take gold is north of that castle in the north. He will have to skirt the edge of the map to get there. But I doubt he's going to be that sneaky.
Oh, man.
56 farms now for Yo. So he understands the assignment, right? He's just going to keep adding farms behind. And he's going to keep spamming light cav. Doesn't even have second wood upgrade or heavy plow for any of those. So his eco is kind of struggling behind this, but he does have handcart.
That's kind of atypical that we see that. Typically, like, people try to jump for that second wood upgrade a bit earlier. And yeah, just the perfect direction of Winchester. Sees the mass light cav and takes into Halberdiers.
This is going to get denied. For the time being.
Yeah.
Mr. Yo will see that, and he's sneaking out with the villagers, but like we saw before, like Vodka showed us, the line of sight for Vinchester is very, very nice, and he will see these villagers attempting to sneak over to this side.
Yeah, there's no stone for Mr. Yo, no way to really cement himself over there, and Vinch can easily just send like 3-4 longbows and can block everything.
And Vinchester's going into Halbs now.
Yeah.
And the Halbs will just hard counter those light cav. Yo's still trying to repair this TC, but there's no light cav to snipe the trebs, and the longbows are taking out all of the villagers. And I think this might be the moment that Mr. Yo chooses to call it. There we go. GG coming in from Yo. Vinchester winning game 2, and Vinchester with some fantastic early pressure. The Castle Age timing was amazing, and the Imperial Age timing was really, really nice. Yo made a good effort to try and raid with +2 armor on those nights, but Vinchester was just too far ahead.
Oh, and smiling quite a bit there.
Yep.
I'm really happy with that one. Yeah. And like, it is a tricky situation, right? As you mentioned, like, armor was missing. Also went for the Mangonels, but Britain's so good defending against those Mangonels. So the typical cumin defense with the Mangonels isn't really an option there.
He had to be worried. When he looked back at his base, the Imperial Age transition, he didn't have enough resources to get Bracer. He needed the food, and you look back at your food eco, there's just Yo Knights everywhere inside of that, right? So it's very tough. And then, of course, you lose your first treb on the other side. So it was getting a little bit sketchy there, but he managed to pull through, and with the longbows, no less.
Yeah. You have to give the man some love, right? Had the option to go for Arbalest, but decided to go for the Longbowmen. Simply the better unit. Plus, he obviously already had the production there with all the 4 castles.
So we go on to game 3. Yo still has Rocky Forest and Hippopotamus. So 2 very similar close combat type of maps. And we're going to see a lot of early aggression on those 2. Vinchester has graveyards.
Which is pretty similar to Arabia, which he lost. So this one feels very open. As I said here, I wouldn't say there's even the slightest advantage for either player.
Are we looking at Berbers for Hippopotamus and then like Bulgarians for Rocky Forest if you're Mr. Yo?
And then force into Portuguese on graveyards? Maybe.
What would you see on graveyards then? Are you thinking like Berbers maybe? Bulgarians?
No. Portuguese on graveyards.
So you okay.
Berbers, Hippopotamus, and Bulgarians, Rocky Forest, I think makes lots of sense.
You sounded skeptical of Portuguese on graveyards.
Yeah,
That's
that
why I was
doesn't
asking.
excite me that much, right? You're not really playing into like the relic advantage. Yeah, your monks are cheaper, so you get some way to work there. But yeah, you kind of have to count on your berry advantage. Mainly to go for scouts, some archers. Obviously, you can go for a lot of Castle Age aggression. And Winchester, he's playing Mongols on this map. We're seeing it for the first time in the NSC4 main event, Rocky Forest. You can't wall on the stone terrain here.
Yeah, and that means you can't wall around your wood lines, so it makes it incredibly difficult. And your lumber camp is always going to be like one tile away from that wood. So you have to chop far enough where you can actually make a new lumber camp and make some small walls. So you will have to keep army at home in defense. As we see Winchester already pulling in the board there. With Mongols, he's going to get some sick uptimes. And in the middle, there's actually a lot of extra hunt if he chooses to go out for it.
Yeah, also extra gold, also extra stone. And this is an important area. And that's why Mongols, with lots of early aggression, maybe something wild like pop 18, pop 17, 19, something in that ballpark, and then try to go there in the center. And look at that, he's sending out those villages, tries to go for the hunt.
Bulgarians, though, can hit some pretty ridiculous timings of their own because they get the Men-at-Arms upgrade for free. So if Yo decides to go for the Men-at-Arms approach and Winchester is exposed in the middle there with his villagers, could be a big problem.
Yeah, and, well, you still need to buy yourself some time, right? If you want to go for scouts or if you want to go for archers. So maybe Winchester goes for Men-at-Arms himself and tries to hold?
That could be, or you could just, I feel like you could even just mix in, without getting the Men-at-Arms upgrade, just a few militia if you in combination with your villagers until you get the other units on the map. I don't even know if
how do you like 3 militia, 4 villagers? Like, and then Mr. Yo just doesn't take the fight, waits for like 5-6 Men-at-Arms, and Rothel storms you, and you didn't
I guess
take
if
the
he
advantage.
Keeps adding, if he keeps adding.
Yeah, if you take one fight, but the distance is so short, he can easily reinforce.
Anyway, we'll see. Winchester is at 17 vills now. We were thinking maybe like pop 18 uptime, but he's queuing up a couple more, so might go up pop 20. He does have a ton of food. It is always surprising with Mongols, right? You see someone at 50 food, and then 30 seconds later, they have 500. It's like, oh my god.
So much in their hands, and yeah, so many on hunt. Scouting this one at the front, takes the fight. First hit for Mr. Yo.
That's a big hit for Mr. Yo. As Winchester is now getting Loom, and he's going to click up behind this. Yo is going to be up around the same time, exactly the same time, actually. And he's going to continue to push those Ibex in, and he goes for the barracks early. So it is definitely going to be a Men-at-Arms approach here for Mr. Yo. But it's barracks from Winchester. So it might be what you said.
Okay, let's take
He's
a look.
Queuing up some militia.
Men-at-Arms, the answer. And just tries to play, basically tries to mirror. And the moment you collected 140 extra resources, it is basically even, right? The only problem is the timing as well, because your barracks needs time to tag into Men-at-Arms, while the opponent can continue producing those.
And Winchester's not going to have that timing window, right? They're up at exactly the same time, so Winchester will have to make the defense happen. Yo's barracks is incredibly close to where he's taking that hunt in the center.
Yeah. Scouts now pushing in 1 deer.
And yeah, there's going to be no surprises there when Winchester sees the flags on that barracks. He's like, yep, this is why I'm going Men-at-Arms.
That's why you played Bulgarians.
Yep.
5 villagers even in the center.
Goes for another mill over there, too. And Mr. Yo is coming out. Mr. Yo didn't see where those villagers were gathering yet, but he has to assume that it's very close. And he sees the militia there. And for militia, being right there means the barracks is definitely in the middle. Definitely in the middle.
So Yo, he wants to dance now as long as possible. And the moment he reaches Feudal Age, he probably wants to go and take the fight. Look at that. That's just dancing. And now he goes in.
Yep. Still, it is 4 militia for Winchester. So Yo has to be very careful. And he's actually playing off the screen. We love it.
Super widescreen there. Click through the screen.
Yo is microing in a different dimension here, folks. At NAC4, it's something we've never seen before. Archer range now being added from Winchester. Archers would be very valuable behind these Men-at-Arms, and now he gets the upgrade, and he's going to try and dive onto the units from Yo. Yo not adding any additional Men-at-Arms behind this. He's probably adding an Archer range of his own, as he sent 4 more to gold.
I think Yo thinks he's going into Winchester's direction. I think he didn't scout at all.
No, he didn't. He didn't scout at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And that means he will take more hits here.
Oh, God, dude, you're going the wrong way, bro. There is no entrance over there. He tries to take just, like, the best fight that he can to eliminate as many Men-at-Arms as possible, but he's only going to take out 2 of them. There's still going to be 2 left over, plus the archers behind from Winchester. So Very, very threatening. And Vinch, of course, is controlling the middle, which means he gets all of that hunt as Mongols.
Did you realize Jordan was just walking by next to us and you said, bro, you're going the wrong way. And Jordan turned around and was really confused. He turned around and looked you in the face and then only realized that you were actually looking at the game.
The other night when we were coming up with the stat sheets, you were like, guys, come over here. I need your brains. And Jordan was like, I'm not the right guy. I'm not that guy.
Skirm Archer, now the defense fletching is coming in as well. Would expect lots of blacksmith upgrades here from Mr. Yo. Obviously only has to pay half of it when it comes to the food count. But talking of food count, already paying off for Winchester. More than 300 extra collected resources.
And look at that, like 4 on food for Yo. It's just ugly, right? It's just ugly. And it's so easy for Winchester to hit these transitions and keep the units coming out because he has these 5 villagers taking the hunt in the middle.
Stable? Question mark for Vinch behind this?
I think you could just add, like, just keep adding production. And there's the stable right there. And just keep going in Feudal Age because as long as you have this hunt in the middle, you know you can just overwhelm your opponent.
Yeah. And 2 skirms now out, no problem. Like, those villagers can fight it off, but he just needs 1 single scout. Dodges those shots quite nicely and still should lose an archer.
Yep. And I think it's a situation here where if Yo can get some value against those archers, he's going to go for a stable of his own eventually in response to the pressure from Winchester, but it takes so much more investment from Yo to do that.
Only with 10 on food, like, what are you going to do? Like,
exactly. You need way more farms, but if Winchester keeps adding army, you have to add army.
Yeah, and then again, like, if both players go archer plus scouts, once you reach Castle Age, it's not looking pretty. They both want to transition into crossbow light cav.
Archer's still pushing here. Winchester just wants to play the micro wars, and he's trying to snipe down the archers there from Mr. Yo. The scout is going to be on the field, and that's going to make things very difficult for Yo, and Winchester will know that one of those archers is 1 hit away from death. And he's actually just ignoring the skirmisher coming in really close and trying to snipe the archers from Yo, and Yo needs to retreat here. He's going to keep himself safe, but it's just incredibly difficult for him to keep military and villagers coming onto the field. He's going for the 2nd archer range instead of the stable because he doesn't have the food eco like you mentioned. And Winchester still just going for extra mills, taking the extra hunt in the center. I wonder if we could see, like, is it possible for us to see, like, total food collected?
Total food collected would be a stat in the in-game statistics. Let me see food.
It's actually not, it's actually, but I wonder, like, in comparison to the number of villagers.
Farm count.
Yeah.
What's the farm count? Should be like 6 against 0? Oh no, we have.
Well, we actually have some decent farms from Winchester. Okay. I thought it would be a bigger discrepancy there.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised as well what's happening. Were those villagers maybe constantly like building the 2nd mill?
They were actually
the
building
houses?
all the production buildings.
Archer range stable, so they weren't constantly working. Maybe only got like 6 deer?
Yep. Winchester just now getting that wood upgrade. Yo's had it for a while, and Yo will be forced to defend against the scouts now with all of his army. Winchester still has control of that entire middle area.
And those archers can scare those scouts away. But honestly, Winchester's just buying time. And the problem, Yo will not get any scouting intel here, right? It could be double stable. It could be Winchester thinking about Castle Age. It could be 1 stable full upgrade commitment.
Winchester still being annoying, using the mobility well with those scouts, and still taking the hunt in the center. I'm just surprised. Like, I would think, I was expecting to look over at his resources and see like 600 food in the bank or something like that, but it's actually really equal here between the 2 players, and Winchester is adding more farms instead of sending villagers forward to that center area.
Is it maybe saving the extra resources? Not really. Where are the resources here? Because resources destroyed are pretty equal. Winchester collected 600 more. Where are those?
I guess Mr. Yo's macros is really good.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Maybe Mr. Yo is a good player.
Maybe he is. Villager goes down, and Winchester will be forced to back away with these archers. Mr. Yo walling in the scouts. He's had enough. He's had enough of these 3 scouts. But then he deletes that, and he's not going to keep that wall for long. Never mind, he's going for market. So Mr. Yo is going to try and get up to Castle Age, and this could be This could be maybe concerning for Winchester, because if I think Yo goes into like heavy knight production, potentially in Castle Age, he could get the upgrades really, really quickly with Bulgarians and Steamroll.
And then can even take into Connex, right?
Yep.
Because like having like 2-3 Krappos in the center, controlling everything, could be a beautiful setup for Bulgarian. And he is walling off the left-hand side. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into the mining camp soon.
Yeah, I think Bulgarians have a pretty dangerous early Castle Age in comparison to the Mongols. And I don't think Steppe Lancers are really going to get you all that much here.
Yeah, I don't think they are that great against the Knights. Maybe this one could even be saved.
Nope. Good snipe there from Winchester, getting some value from the scouts, and he doesn't manage to save that one. Yo is on the way to Castle Age, only 20 seconds behind Winchester, so Yo has done a fantastic job, even though Winchester had all that extra res in the center.
Oh, and he has no idea.
Yeah, he has absolutely no idea. He has to suspect, because he hasn't seen those archers in a while, that they might be doing this, but this isn't something you see all that often on this map, right? People like to funnel military through the center area, and they don't like to go for these sneak attacks, so very, very nice from Winchester. I don't think, with this amount of archers, I don't think you wait for Castle Age to come in before attacking.
The question is, like, do you maybe even want to split? You know all the resources there. Send half of them to the gold, half of them to the woodline.
Okay, is Yo, are alarm bells going to start going off in his mind when he walks to the center and doesn't see these archers?
Yeah, he has to be scared for sure, but still no reaction.
Vinch has to get real close here. There we go. And that's 1 dead Vill. That's 2 dead Vills. And it's going to be 3 dead villagers, potentially 4 here. He won't manage to snag that last one. Look at Yo's face. Yeah, Yo's face. He leans back. He's like, oh, bro, come on. But he is finding some retribution here in the center. However, the tower's not going to go up in time as Yo still losing villagers over here, and there's just not enough room inside that tower for everybody.
9 kills for that group of archers there. Some return kills, but it won't be enough to equalize that one. Mr. Yo down to 33 villagers.
33 villagers against 39 from Winchester. Winchester going for some knights of his own. He's going crossbow bodkin, so he needs to get that army alive behind there. Mr. Yo has found a couple villager picks in the center area, and he is now going for knights, but he's got 0 on gold, as Vodka pointed out there. Fortunately for him, he will be able to get that +2 armor in very quickly, but I don't know where the knights are coming from with no gold.
Too, and those crossbows will be good enough. Now moving out there, but Knight will clear this one up as well. Winchester in a very commanding position. Yep,
and Yo is not really able to take those villagers either, because the knight is on the hunt, as the crossbows are still killing on the wood line. And we saw Yo's initial expression when these came in. Like, that's just, he's got to be kicking himself. Like, I knew that army was somewhere. I just didn't know it was there.
Yeah, but like, why? Like, we had some skirms, right? One at the bottom, one at the top, and we get all the intel. Like, Yo even split off his army because he didn't know where Vinch was, but didn't like really think outside attacks were an option.
TC now in the center there from Winchester. 3rd TC at the bottom. I think the only way back for Yo in this game is if Winchester gets very greedy with the economy, and then Yo is able to steamroll military. But right now, he's got 1 knight in production. He does have the +2 armor, but only 1 knight in production, and there's camels coming out from Vinch. I mean, Winchester still has the resources in the center. He's now controlling the woodline from the other side, the safe side, with those crossbows, and Yo is just in all sorts of trouble.
What's even the answer to this? He has auto-reseeding farms on. Like, how do you get to wood here? It's really ugly.
It's very, very difficult, right? You have to transition all of your villagers over to the north side wood, maybe, but then that's like super exposed, and he can range that too.
Nice. The knight's at least chasing down. Perfect amount there, chases them away. Some skirms trying to defend.
Look at Yo trying to take wood right now. He's so far away from his lumber camp, and he's just trying to avoid these crossbows. He's going to go over with skirms and clear them up, but he knows that's not going to work. He knows it's not going to work.
It's Botkin against 1-1. He can out-micro this. Oh, this is so good for Vinch. And he blocks the knights coming over for the clear-up as well.
Yeah, with the camels, but now Yo has more knights, so Winchester has to be careful. Just keep up production of military, Vinch, and there's no concern here. You just can't cut production and try and get greedy with your eco, because that's the only way back, it feels like, for Mr. Yo.
Oh, and look at that. Overchop here at the right-hand side. Winchester's army can easily reinforce. he can combine his crossbow numbers, and the camels are adding as well.
Usually overchops are bad, but in this instance, it means the crossbows can get there right away, and the camels are going to clear up the knights. Those crossbows are going to lead that knight back into a different army. Yo's going to be like, where on earth did that come from? And the camels are pushing him away again. Yo trying to go for more counter raids. It's worked in 2 games so far. Obviously didn't win the second game, but he got a lot of damage done. However, in this game, Winchester already has a monastery ready, already a monk on the field, the camels to chase after it, and the TCs for the villagers to hide in. So he's got a great setup.
Oh, that's interesting.
Conversion
there.
gets it.
Gets one. Yeah.
Does get it. He's got another camel coming back. So no damage to be done there for Mr. Yo. And he lost, looks like another villager on that wood line, and he is transitioning over to that north side.
And yeah, the economy has to be so bad here for Mr. Yo. Like, not even any extra town centers. And
Vinch should have just probably engaged there, but the GG is in regardless. And
yeah.
That's a great game from Winchester. Great draft from Winchester to get Mongols, access to Mongols there. And also a good approach early, right? You mentioned it. He goes for the men-at-arms in response to the men-at-arms from Mr. Yo, because he knows that it's coming. It's Bulgarians. It's so likely. And he made 4. Yo only made 3.
Kind of interesting. I want to see the draft again. Like, how did we get to Mongols?
Winchester? Winchester? Sorry.
Someone in the chat said earlier in the Outcrop game, fast Winchester.
I've seen that one before.
I like that one. So how do we get Mongols and not sniped? Where are Mongols? 4th
He
pick
sniped
only.
Khmer. He sniped Khmer.
Against, on what map?
No, maybe Khmer is a good response to a villager rush on Hippopotamus. You just hide in the houses? I don't know.
Wanted to have the Berber play there. Okay. But is it such good of an answer?
I don't know.
Like both are idles.
Trying to think of answers, you know?
Huh.
Do you have the answers?
I don't have the answers.
Okay.
Maybe an after interview will be an option.
Another great set, though, so far.
Yeah.
And I would expect Yo to win the next game, and I would expect this to go to game 5.
Yeah, not unlikely.
Yeah.
And Mr. Yo, it feels like Hippopotamus could be his choice there. Unless he wants to go for graveyards and just play pretty straightforward. Because this is now the interesting scenario, right? Where Mr. Yo needs to win both games. So he knows, okay, I need to win Hippopotamus and graveyards. Maybe he has a strategy prepared for Hippopotamus. So strategically, you can go for graveyards first.
Yeah.
Play a normal game. Show a meta strategy. And if you lose, you hide your Hippopotamus strategy for another day.
Do you think Winchester would go Japanese on Hippopotamus or Byzantines?
I think Japanese are is the more standard pick there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just go for the dock.
Dog play,
Yeah.
you want to, like, you're pushed away so many times, need to build more mills for the shorefish as well. That, like, Japanese have proven to be, like, really strong. I'm actually a bit surprised that they're picked that late.
Yep. Okay, so will Yo opt to go for Winchester's home map first, like Nili suspects, going for graveyards because he's just banking on winning, so he's going to have to play both of those maps regardless? Or will he go for his own pick in Hippopotamus? Seems like we're just getting ready for the game here.
Trying to hydrate here, Mr. Vinci. Getting some water for himself.
I love that shirt.
What does it say?
Star Wars shirt? Yeah.
Okay.
Sick.
Could you read it out, what's on there?
Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star... Are we going to get copyrighted?
Let's look into it.
No, like, not literally into it. He zooms in further. If anyone was here for the wrap-up of yesterday's stream, so we basically went over all the highlights, and then production had various camera angles for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was clearly like, he was like a little kid in paint.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have to try the spray paint can. I have to try, zooming things in. Like,
and
nice.
yeah, they want to show off the production apparently.
Nice.
Oh,
That is some
cameras.
quality equipment here.
Yeah.
And some
I'm really
quality
pleased.
desks as well. We have this desk sponsor. You can see the heights, custom adjustable desks. And as someone who uses a standing desk, these ones are really good.
Nice.
Really good.
Yeah. I'm really happy with them as well. From LeetDesk, and obviously if you suffer from back pain, like Dave did in the past, height adjustable tables could have been a thing for you.
Yep. It is a thing for me.
It is a thing for you. Oh, look at that. Mr. Yo's overlay.
Oh.
We know he's picking Berbers. Oh, shh. So actually very likely that he also went for hippopotamus.
Yeah.
But let's not say it.
So I think it's very viable here that Yo will pick a Civ
What is
on
the
a map.
text saying at the bottom?
It says, for additional details regarding the tournament, please check Wikipedia. With my emote following.
Nice.
Yep. And we're just going to wide Nili walk our way into this game 4.
Are we though? Do you think enough people?
Me and the boys heading to Hippopotamus. Me and the boys going for a Berber villager rush.
Oh, that's so good.
And here we are. It's a wonderful hippo.
And the boys are being pulled.
Yeah, and the boys are being pulled, and there's no surprise here. Winchester will see that Berber's pick, and he knows what's coming if he watched the qualifiers at all. And Yo is already laming the elephant here. And there we go. Me and the boys on the way to lame an elephant in Winchester's base. Wouldn't be surprised to see Yo kill this villager and maybe try and lame the other elephant as well. Winchester's going to get it inside, though.
Okay, nice one there. And the big question mark is why are we seeing some wild choices here? Berbers, obviously the only civilization that has faster moving villagers, and therefore, oh, Bulgarians. Okay.
Bulgarians with a lot of options as well. As Yo is attempting now to wall in this woodline from Winchester. Winchester has not had the opportunity to go out for a dock. There are deep fish at the north there. And a lot of times we see players send one villager out early, take that fish, and then they don't go for land aggression. They just try and survive and let their fish pull in enough food to take an advantage over their opponent.
Yeah, and we have Twitch chat open here at our extra screen. And please, mods, ban everyone who's saying, this is looking like a panda. The map is called Hippopotamus. Accept it.
I said that it...
Dave, behave.
Okay, it is a very...
It's a hippopotamus.
Is a very...
It's not a panda.
Drush Forest.
Overlay guy on point.
And that's all we got out of that, Drush Forest.
It's Villager Rush Forest.
Yep. All right.
What do you think about Hippopotamus?
Hippopotamus? Yeah, it seems like a sad hybrid. It seems like a sad hybrid, yeah.
The sad hybrid of Down and Me.
Yep. Yep. It's very methodical. And look at that. Yo didn't wall off that elephant, so Winchester's still getting some food.
Interesting.
From that. And Yo is still trying to wall in this woodline here. And Winchester actually milling that with Japanese.
What?
How much food is left on the elephant? It's your Japanese, so your mill costs 50 wood. Is that potentially worth it?
Like an elephant has 400 food to begin with, right? Obviously, it's rotting quite a bit as well. He apparently thinks it.
Okay.
Yep.
So good use of the Japanese bonus there.
It would be like milling for like 2.5 deer.
And he had more than enough wood because he's got 2 fishing ships queued here. So it might have been a situation where he looked at his wood count. He's like, why not? Why shouldn't I go for that, right? It's just going to give me a bit more of an efficient eco. Obviously, my allocation of the villagers was a bit scuffed at the beginning, which is why I have so much wood, but I just need to recover at the moment and get more food in the bank. And he has added those fish, and he's going to start getting that fish food income coming in. But Winchester, knowing that Yo also has the possibility to go for a dock, is scouting this area, and that's excellent scouting from Winchester.
Yeah, so aware. Dear Nili, I think commerce snipe on Arabia and dry that guy. Okay.
He's asking questions.
Thanks for your support.
He's becoming self-aware. we need to do something about this. We need to reprogram. Okay, so the villager rush didn't really do all that much. I mean, Winchester was floating a ton of wood early. He was laid out to that dock, so I guess it caused a little bit of disruption. But in terms of kills, still 0-0 all the way across the board, and Winchester does get some of that food from that elephant, and now he really doesn't like that house.
Yeah, also resource collected, pretty much identical. The main story is the difference here in fuel age timing. 1 minute earlier for Mr. Yo. That means he could get a fire galley out and harass Winchester, but obviously stronger fishing ships, he could survive a bit.
Yep. Yo is housed. Mission accomplished.
Okay, he needs
But
to
he's
go
not
quite a
producing
bit.
anything. So he's not host yet.
Well,
he
he-
will be soon, and he's sending villagers forward.
What?
Is Yo going to get up to Feudal Age?
Tower.
And then, okay. Oh, thank
It's
God.
not douching. It's not douching.
I thank
Dave.
God. I was thinking
Chill.
like fast Feudal into Dude. That'd be the most scuffed
Not a town
strategy of
center
all
rush.
time.
Now it's important that he walls in and creates a small area for himself before he starts his tower. Oh, but villagers are being pulled against this.
Villagers are being pulled from Winchester. Maybe Yo will go for an opening demo and then try and pull the villagers over to the water.
Oh, that would be great, guys.
That could be a play.
The block.
But
the block.
looks like he's blocking with the faster villagers, and he's going to be able to get that hit. No, Winchester comes in. He's a goddamn hero, that villager, saving the life of his comrade. And Winchester is still going to engage here, and Yo is the first player to lose a villager in this game. Winchester gets away with another one, 2 hits away from death. Fantastic micro so far from Winchester.
Oh, but look at that. Winchester, he is pulling more villagers. Look at that. Barely any income for either player. And now the Fire Galley still against no Fire Galley.
Yeah, and the Fire Galley is going to head over towards the fish. Yo will be thinking about a tower. He actually goes for a barracks instead. So he switched up his strategy, and he's going to wall in this Vill. He's got to click a little bit faster than that as Winchester now goes for a tower against the barracks from Mr. Yo. So things are getting a little bit hectic on this Hippo Pandapotamus here.
You had to do it, right?
I like that term. I like the term. And it's a bit of a strange animal. It's a bit of a strange opening here, as
Yeah.
it always is on this map.
Yeah, it is a wild one, right? And we said, like, we are not surprised because Mr. Yo is so good at it, right? He played so many villager rushes. He obviously has lots of teammates that know how to douche and make games messy as well. So he really sees a lot of it. And Winchester, that's something you don't really get in practice games typically.
I think this is, so far, pretty good defense from Winchester. I mean, he's going for a couple fires. He has the villager there to repair. Might actually repair the fishing ship and use it to block against the fire from Mr. Yo. And you can see that Yo is kind of confused, right? Like, his villagers are running back and forth in Winchester's base. So, great defense so far from Vinch. We'll see what he can do against his tower from Mr. Yo. He still doesn't have enough for a second tower, but he does have 6 villagers on stone. So, maybe he can mine enough to drop off and then fully contest that forward tower from Yo.
He's on Golden Wood, though. Why are we queuing a skirmisher here for Mr. Yo? Isn't, like, Archer way better? Like, more damage from the tower, more damage against villagers in general.
I don't know.
And you're not adding UTC.
Oh, trying to block with the skirm. He says, I can do this too, but the tower is just out of range, and the skirmisher can't quite kill that villager. If it was an archer,
If it was an Archer.
the villager would be dead.
Yeah. My storyline. Oh, Fire Galley here. 3v2. Villager tries to run. Could repair here. Nice move.
Yep. Mr. Yo sending that villager forward is beautiful. And he's also, it looks like he's sending the scout as well near that dock. I don't know how much HP he's got left on his starting scout there, Mr. Yo. Not too much, and none at all now, as he gets roasted by the Fire Galley from Vinch.
Take a look at the top. I think a demo might be popping pretty soon. It's double Fire Galley moving forward there on the other side. He has the demo.
Oh, and if he
Any
could get the Vill and a Fire Galley,
Yeah.
that's so valuable.
He's trying to reposition them all together. How deep is he going? Full hit.
Boom! Nice hit there from Winchester. And it looks like he's going to be in a position to clear up at least one more Fire Galley. But Mr. Yo, with some great positioning from that villager, is going to tank the hits for the ship. That's not something you see every day. He will win the fight, but he does lose the villager at the end of the day.
Yeah, but doesn't really matter, right? There's not a lot of army against this one. Skirmish is still harassing. I still don't understand how those are not aided by like 2-3 archers. Could have made so much more sense.
And Yo is still waiting for the stone. I mean, the villagers have been idle there for a while on that gold.
Maybe he thinks, okay, you are likely to go for an archery range, and then my skirms make so much more sense.
Winchester's still with 4 fish alive. There's a demo from Mr. Yo, however, and it's sitting there. It's waiting for its moment to shine as Yo is trying to take out Vills, and he finally kills a villager from Winchester. There's a lot of weak ones in Winchester's economy, but he's still unable to take out the fish from Vinch. Do you go after this Fire Galley and then the fish?
Well, the fish simply doesn't die from a demo, right, if you're Japanese.
Oh, Japanese, that's right.
Yeah, so you have to go for the military there. Nice move here. Villager still fighting. Could be the second kill. Archer arrives, suddenly finds a villager kill. Hallelujah.
And that's the second villager of the game dead from Winchester. Or sorry, third villager of the game now, unless Yo has sniped the fishing ship in the north which it looks like he hasn't. And Yo is going for a tower in the center to control all of this food.
Oh, this is optimistic. Winchester. Oh, God.
He's got scouts, though. He's got scouts coming in, Nili.
But still, it's a full tower. Like, it's 9 villagers there still fighting. Oh, this feels optimistic.
The villagers right now are working away on that tower. It looks like Mr. Yo is going to engage against the scouts with his own vills. He has enough stone to repair here, and this is a big moment. Winchester has made that commitment to come in for this tower. It looks like Mr. Yo is sending more villagers too, and you were right, Nili. I think this is just too big of a commitment for Vinch.
Oh, yeah. Tower output is just simply crazy in those situations. Didn't have enough villagers to pull. And Mr. Yo, he had like 13 villagers
and
over
look
here
at how
now.
weak these vills are. Vinch can't pull these away. Like, they will die to that tower if he pulls them away. Oh, boy. This is really, really rough for Winchester. He's going to get away with a few villagers, but that's about it. He's gone for a second dock up there, and it looks like he's finally losing some fishing chips. So Yo's pressure is paying off.
What's the kill count on that tower? It's up for like 1 minute. It was instantly getting
Only
attacked.
5?
Okay,
2?
only 2.
Only 2.
Yeah. Well, lots of the stuff was under the tower as well, right?
No fletching for Yo.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Another tower behind. Didn't see that tower before, behind the wood line. Just providing a little bit of extra pressure on Vinch's economy there. And the final fishing ship does go down as Yo is still using his vills to chase these skirms back. She's pretty weak, though.
Okay, what are we building here? Is that... he already had... blacksmith. Okay, that makes sense. And now another tower at the left-hand side. He's soon completely surrounding the right eye of the Hippo.
What's the idle TC time here for Winchester? I would be very interested in that. Okay, a full minute.
Still reasonable.
Yeah, for this map, very reasonable.
Yeah. Facing the villager rush, losing much. He will wall it.
He's going to try and wall it.
He will wall it.
It's a Berberville.
He outruns. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. You can't outrun a tiger.
Azul.
Come on, Tony. Get in there.
Oh, maybe, okay, something else is happening, and this one looks a bit more promising for Winchester simply because there's less army there to protect and fewer villagers to repair. Tower goes down.
Yeah, and she's trying to get back. The ostrich is blocking a little bit.
Trap!
Oh! Mr. Yo with the big play, saving the villager 1 hit away from death, and he's forced to run away in the north at the same time. Winchester also pushing back on water. He went for that second dock early, and it looks like he's going to get over to Mr. Yo's docks and be able to kill those fish.
18 food for Winchester. Mr. Yo, not a lot of food, but on the way to Castle Age and the double stable switch up. Winchester, he will play like 2 skirms, 2 archers, 2 spearmen, and suddenly will face like 4 knights.
That's a crazy time for Mr. Yo. That is wild. And to think that he's done all that behind the villager idle time he's had being forward is crazy. Oh, that's so many weak vills. Oh, jeez. If he had a demo there, Nili. I think there's so much, but I would never want to face TaToH on this map because I think he would just be baiting you into demos the entire time.
Could we get a farm comparison here? It just feels like Mr. Yo was so much more efficient. Yeah, not a single farm for him on the other side.
I think he was really hard committing onto the shorefish on the left.
Yeah. I think he has like at least 3 mills, right? 2 here at the this side and 1 more at the bottom.
Yeah, it's just fantastic.
So nice.
And that's how he hit that timing so well, right? And now he's going to go into stables, he's going to go into knights, and Winchester is still completely open.
Is that a 3rd stable?
That's
oh no,
2.
okay, blacksmith earlier.
2.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
But he already has the +1 armor, already has bloodlines, and his castle age is 30 seconds away. And we look at Winchester's food eco. He's got 13 on food. He's forced to engage down here, and Yo is looking for some picks. He gets 1, and he gets another. Oh, this is so annoying. And he has bloodlines and the armor too, so it's so difficult for Winchester
he's
to finish
microing
this
it,
off.
but Winchester's not really looking into it.
Another tower there from Yo. The aggression just doesn't stop. There's the castle age timing, and look at Winchester's face. He's just kind of like, oh my god. This was stressful to begin with, and now I have absolutely no chance, just taps out.
Oh man,
Crazy.
that was a crazy game. And yeah, Mr. Yo just simply dominating those maps. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of bans on hippopotamus-like maps against Mr. Yo in the future.
Yep. I think so. I mean, against a guy who's so crazy at providing aggression and then getting that uptime to Castle Age is wild, right? And there was no point, even when Winchester had army or some army, there was no point where Yo was like, my eco is exposed. Because I'm constantly just pressuring yours. You have to keep everything home in defense. Maybe you make the argument for Winchester that he just abandons the berries rather than full committing there. And he's a bit better off, but still.
That was pretty wild. And our decider will actually be graveyards now, right? Another really aggressive map. Tougher to wall on graveyards than on Arabia, for example. And civilization choices. We're thinking Hindustanis, kind of a guarantee. Mr. Yo can go for both Malians or Portuguese.
So you kind of were a little bit skeptical in your tone anyway of Portuguese. I would think Portuguese... How many berries do you get on graveyards? Is it just standard 6?
I would think so.
Okay.
And there are
So
no
it's nothing
like,
crazy,
extra
right?
berries.
There's no extra berries.
And
It's not a map that you can easily wall. You can do it, but you'll have to make some military to get to the point where you can wall.
Yeah. The thing is, on graveyards, since it's so tough to wall, you're kind of guaranteed to play massive Castle Age. And Portuguese doesn't mind that, right? If they go Knight, Crossbow, Monk,
Monks, yeah.
that's just brilliant in the sense
They're
that they
saving
save so much gold.
Yeah. Huh. It's just getting to the point where you're actually walled on graveyards without dying in Feudal Age.
Yeah.
That'll be the issue for Portuguese. But maybe, I mean, maybe Yo picks Malians. Maybe Yo has found something in the Malians that he likes for graveyards. I think it's going to be Portuguese probably, and then we look at Hindustanis, obviously, for Winchester. I mean, that's just a solid pick.
Yeah. Like, Byzantines are nice, but I think you want to have more mobility.
I think if you're picking Byzantines here, you're getting too cute, right? You're, like, overthinking it. And here we go, and it is going to be Hindustanis against Portuguese from Yo. And the bases, as far as graveyards go, they're actually fairly close to each other, which might not play into Yo's favor.
Yeah, short distance kind of means like big Feudal Age army also pays off a bit more, right? Because you won't get those walls in general. Like, yeah, you have a reasonable amount of woodlines, but you never have a really close woodline here. Also, why we mentioned monks so much is because we have 11 relics on this map here, so we're expecting a lot of monks just to boost the economy.
That is an excessive amount of skeletons. Like, I know there's skeletons on Graveyard, but that is an excessive amount there near Mr. Yo's. A lot of people died for that relic, Nili.
Well, look at the map name.
It is Graveyards, yeah, but, like, I guess. If we just wanted tombstones, we would call it Cemetery, right?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of skeletons in the center there. Some ruined buildings, some more crosses there. And this is the nice little theme of the map, right? We got the dried up riverbeds with the elephant carcasses and whatnot, and it is very open.
But Simba, never go into that area.
Where the light doesn't touch. Yeah.
Promise me that. But why, Dad? Just promise me.
Okay, we're reenacting the entire Lion King scene. Later on, actually, set number 3, we're going to have a moment where I lift Nili up into the sunlight. We're on the 6th floor here, so we can just hold him out the window.
And then Hera stops by with like some red paste and puts it on my forehead.
Welcome to the world, my son. Okay, so what is the strategy? What is the opening here for Mr. Yo? Is he just in survival mode until he gets to Castle Age, or is he going to go for some sort of aggression?
If we go big Feudal Age play, Portuguese won't mind that, right?
Yeah.
If we play full archers.
Land archers, yeah.
Remember, we just had a balance patch last week that we are using. Players got access to it a week earlier to practice and prepare for this tournament. Villages now actually saving less food compared to the patch 2 weeks ago.
And that nerfs Hindustanis just a little bit. It doesn't make them a bad civilization by any means. They're still one of the best civilizations in the game, especially on these open land maps. Yo has gone for still only 3 villagers on the berries there. Of course, as we can see here, foragers generate wood in addition to food. Now, if you have 6 berries, I believe that's 250 wood.
Some in the ballpark, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have seen them so much on Kabasan, for example, where we have massive berries in the center, right? And now the big question, looking at the minimap, look at where they're scouting. Neither player has an idea where the opponent is.
Yeah, well, usually graveyards, it goes like diagonal, right? Like from corner to corner. It's not usual that you're both on the same side. And both of these players are having the same problem. They're doing exactly the same thing. Winchester's like, there's a whole lot of trees over here. There's a serious lack of Yo on this side of the map. And Yo is going to loop around and start looking for his opponent too. But good approach to scouting from both of them,
Or
and they will find each other at exactly the same time.
Yeah, or maybe Winchester sees, oh, there's a lot of dead bodies. I don't think Yo has a good start.
Yeah, they find each other at exactly the same time. Like, scouting is something we don't talk about, like the approach to scouting as much as maybe we should, but it is something that you learn through like thousands of games on how to do it the most efficiently.
Yeah,
And these two guys are just so good with it, especially Mr. Yo. The place where the light doesn't touch is the little dungeon this guy makes his memes in.
Man-at-arm upgrade in 15 seconds. My Winchester actually plays an archer defense, and those villagers at the front are pretty exposed. Oh, Scout is helping out. This should be a dead villager.
Yeah, and this is an excellent opening here for Mr. Yo. He's gone for the men-at-arms, and he's going to be able to block this villager. Men-at-arms getting damage behind, and Winchester also has another villager in the immediate area, but now the TC fire is getting some value, but Mr. Yo is in on the berries, and Winchester needs to leave, and Yo can loop this scout around and block once again. This villager heading towards the TC. A few misclicks for Yo. He's not going to be able to get it, so fortunate for Winchester, but he does lose the villager, and he's kicked off the berries. And we were asking, how are the Portuguese going to get to that Castle Age stage of the game? Mr. Yo has bought himself a ton of time here.
Oh yeah, and just like some people might think, okay, only one villager dead, not the worst thing. But actually, the things that are snowballing from here is he had to build 3 farms, that delays the blacksmith, that delays fletching, and that means the first archer skirm attack of Mr. Yo will do way more damage than it should do.
Mr. Yo also added 2 spearmen into this force of men-at-arms. So I'm wondering if he thought Winchester was going to open with a stable.
The scouting was so late, right?
Yeah,
It was just a blind addition.
Yep. It is an archer range, though, and he won't be adding any future spearmen immediately. He's going to add an archer range behind, and he will go for an archer follow-up here. He will see that Winchester is on the gold there, which is kind of expected because of the archer range, and he's going to scout the rest of Winchester's base. Yo's going to have to be pretty satisfied with the amount of damage he did there. Like, if you go for a men-at-arms push and you kill 1 villager and kick your opponent off berries, that's a good start to the game.
Low HP scout here, and Winchester.
And he's back.
Oh, he trades HP here. Obviously, that close to the town center, they can somewhat take this fight. Archer still scares this one away. But as I said, if Yo heavily commits, fetching timing difference will be such a big difference.
Yep. And look at that. He's even getting value against the archer, picking away at that HP. Maybe he can loop back with the scout and kill it. No, the scout is dead from Mr. Yo, so that's a great snipe there from Winchester. Scout can be used to pick off the archer reinforcements. It can be used to block the villagers for your men-at-arms. So really, really great stuff. And also scouts find incredible value on graveyards if you get to Castle Age and just finding the relics in general.
Yeah, finding and so many unprotected monks, right? Because he can't protect 11 monks if you want to go for all those relics. Blacksmith timing actually a bit closer for both of them than I would have expected. Or is that a stable from Winchester?
It looks like it's a stable.
Wow.
Yep. So Yo's going to see that stable, commit against the villager with the spearman, and he's sneaking 2 archers around the left side, but Winchester Scout is there.
Perfect positioning there. Have to love it.
I don't think it's deliberate, though. I think he's just forgotten about it for the time being, but he will find them.
Oh, perfect scouting.
He will find them. And he's going to keep some archers at home and a skirmisher,
and
too.
skirm. Perfect, perfect. And Mr. Yo shouldn't find much, but we see the aggression of Winchester through the front, and those men-at-arms not really finding the value. Surprising how well Winchester is defending.
Yep. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you're good, and sometimes you're good enough to get lucky. And that's what it seems Winchester was there with the scouting on those archers. Could have lost a villager. Could have been kicked off the gold, but he isn't. And Winchester is now struggling to find value at Yo's base. The men-at-arms come back again, but does manage to save the villagers, and it feels like both players will be fairly secure for the time being.
Tries to jump under minimum range, but the scout obviously is helping out now. Wolf helped out as well, and that will be cleared up. Winchester with a military advantage, and game is stabilizing. Are we thinking about Castle Age here? I would have expected...
I think so. I think you just keep 1 building production and wall up.
Okay. I would have expected way bigger Feudal Age commitments here from both players, actually.
Maybe if Yo didn't get as much damage with the men-at-arms, maybe we see more of that.
But he knew that he kept his opponent open. He knew the distance was short. I still believe that heavy Feudal Age aggression could have paid off. But obviously, players got so good at defending, and sometimes you miss your timings there.
Does it play into his Civ strengths, though? if he wants to play heavy Feudal Age. Like, he does spend less on the archers, but I think Portuguese really thrive in Castle Age.
Yeah, but like if you know your opponent is already struggling early on,
Yeah, maybe.
and obviously like Hindustanis, they get an increased discount on their villages.
He also did open Spearmen, so he thought he kind of wasted a little bit of res on those Spearmen, so maybe he didn't have enough for the follow-up immediately.
Maybe. It's fully walled now, and I think Castle Age timing should be a bit better for Winchester, but Yo likely less than a minute behind there.
Oh, see you later. The skirmisher moonwalking back away from that wolf, but that wolf is going to get 2 kills, and that's very frustrating if you're Finch. Like, you saw the little shake of the head there. Oh, boy.
Is that Scar?
No, Scar's a lion. Completely different biome.
Okay.
Species.
So he is not part of the alliance.
No.
Okay. But still, he was responsible for killing some heroes. Is that Scar?
That's Eustace.
Ah, okay, my bad.
Stable after the second archer range here from Winchester, and he's up to Castle Age a minute before Yo. Yo does have the full walls down, and Winchester is exploring that and figuring that out. But Vinch has added those scouts in on this transition period, and those are going to give him a lot of value in Castle Age, and he should have better scouting than Yo. Actually, we just transferred between the two, and it's very, very similar. That's surprising to me.
Well, both obviously had the unfortunate scouting early on, then had to chase some scouts, right? Some of the archer skirm all went to the right-hand side, and obviously scouted everything in between them.
Oh, Yo has 3 relics within his walls.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually sick.
One in the back, one to the right, and one in the left.
Does he see all of those? I think he sees the one to the right. He sees the one to the left. He doesn't see the one at the back, but he also spots like 3 other relics on the map, so fairly good exploration from him.
Now sends the skirms to the front, kind of a suicide mission to see, okay, what is my opponent going for? Look at the mind games of Winchester. 2 archer ranges, 2 flags. In total, only 2 archers.
Yeah, and he's not queuing up anymore.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Yo's going to see that stable. He's going to be like, oh, he's going 2-range crossbows with like a stable producing camels in front.
But no, look at that. He suicides the skirms. He wants to find out, are you adding town centers? How many villages do you have on board as well?
Sick.
Sees the second stable. Brilliant play by Yo.
That is sick. So Yo will know that something wacky is going on in Vinchester's eco, and he's going to see that other TC. He knows the skirms can't give him that much value because he's not going to upgrade them. He's just going to use them to scout, and that is perfect recognition from Yo. Amazing game sense from him. And he is going to go into crossbow production now. He will probably add a monastery fairly soon, and then maybe even a second TC pretty early.
What's the army comp here for Yo? Only 1 stable, 1 archer range? I think he's taking the boomy approach
Yo
here as well.
sees everything in Vinchester's base. Like the whole setup, with just 1 skirm.
Yeah, that's so nice. Forces a bit of idle time, not the most important thing. And I think this becomes a really boomy game.
Both players controlling a corner of the map. Obviously, 50% of the map completely untaken. Not controlled at all. There are a lot of relics, a lot of extra gold, a lot of extra stone. I'm sure they'll expand out there at some point here as Winchester now adds in... Did he not have a blacksmith?
He doesn't have a single upgrade. That's what I said. I said it at minute 11. His blacksmith will be delayed, Dave. You should have listened.
Super delayed, 20 minutes for the first blacksmith. He was just focusing on production first, and he's going to try and get that first armor upgrade. Has to be very careful, though, fighting against this number of crossbows with no upgrades whatsoever. And Yo even has a knight in front. Did go for that second TC before the monastery, so the monks aren't out yet. And he's trying to weasel his way back into his base. Winchester, I feel like he can engage against that choke point, and he agrees he's going to back up for the time being.
Yeah, I can't really...
Is Yo still exploring with that skirmisher? No, it's a knight. Okay, okay. Just Yo things. 1 random knight, and here you go.
And not a lot of upgrades on that one, so we'll take quite some damage there. Hello, Dave.
TCs can't hit arrows? They can, never mind. I was wrong.
Okay, feels ugly to build that TC, but still, you're getting the stone, you will build another lumber camp somewhere else later on, and we'll take that for a lot of farming. Also protects the hill at the bottom.
Yep, Yo going for a second monastery now. Portuguese monks do cost less, which is very, very nice.
Yeah, the best unit you can go for if you want to have the discount.
They're 80 gold, right?
Yeah. There was actually the funny meme before, wasn't it like Red Bull 5?
Hindustani camels do more damage to buildings. They're going to be in. And Yo has to be worried about that. He does have double monastery, so maybe if he sends a couple monks back, Winchester won't want to engage against that.
Actually quite a lot of food floating for Mr. Yo. 2 builds dead. And Crossbow's chasing this one away. Still, feels like a spot where house walls could have felt quite natural. Maybe some walls here. Yeah, I don't think Yo should lose too much more. Their gates up, has a town center, tries to lock in a conversion. I think now it needs to make sure to trap all those by walling off the right-hand side.
And they are kind of trapped over here. Like, you could go for a gate against that wood line and another gate to the TC, and your crossbow should be able to deal with this. Instead, Yo just kind of lets them roam around. He's going to loop the crossbows back around the other side of the wood line. Just feels like such a headache that you could have dealt with very early with just a house or an additional wall back there, but didn't happen. He's now gone for a house as he's bringing in the relic from that side.
Yeah, he initially sent that monk to go get a conversion, but then the monk was so far out of position that he decided simply to go for the relic there. And Camel's still annoying, and that's the main story of the game, right? Right now it's like basically nothing happening and very boomy situation.
Yep, 4 TCs for Winchester. 4 TCs here for the Hindustanis. And he is going to be at 68 villagers versus 57 from Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo floating a ton of food still. A ton of food. And he's not making any units other than villagers that are gonna require food, right? So I wonder, is this like a dare I say it, is this like an Imperial Fatoria play? Didn't have the gold that he needs to click up, but
I think this is Mr. Yo's cam with Winchester's gameplay. So yeah, be aware that Winchester, obviously our Hindustani player, still tries to pick up some more relics, and you can see how he's spamming all those hotkeys. And look at how many villagers he has in the queue. Now thinks about a forward castle as well.
Yep. He's got it. No, he builds it defensively. I mean, he does have 4 town centers, so you're assuming your opponent is going a little bit heavier on the military production. Mr. Yo is getting the eco upgrade, still floating a lot of resources. Does have 11 on stone himself, but he's still only double TC.
11 villagers in the queue for Winchester.
He does have 3 relics, though.
Crossbows.
Uh-oh.
No ballistics. Will he even find the kill against the monk?
Once he drops it off.
Oh!
Doesn't even get it inside. The monk yeets that relic over to the other side of the monastery. Light Cav are in the front here, and they're looking for monks to pick off, but it looks like Mr. Yo is going to chase those away. He notices this castle just a little bit too late. He even had a monk there with the crossbow, so there was an opportunity for him to maybe deny that, but he didn't notice it in time. And he's just going to have to back away. Winchester's still grabbing relics over here. 2 relics coming in from him. Mr. Yo already controls 4. There's 11 total on this map. So very important to get the one in between their bases, and then there's one to the right as well.
Neither player is seeing this relic as we see in the point of view there. So not impossible that we will have 10 only picked up for a very long time. And 4-4 split at least. Maybe 6-4 against Yo going towards him.
Squire's coming in for Winchester, and he's adding in Ghoulems. He is adding in Ghoulems, which should be a really good option against the crossbow, but Mr. Yo is coming forward here with some villagers, and I don't think Ghoulems perform all that well against organ guns.
Yeah, or hand cannoneers could have also been an option, right? And yeah, organ guns obviously will be crazy good, and Yo... That's an aggressive call.
That is a very Yo castle. That is a very Yo castle. Winchester, you might think, oh, he's got something in those 2 archer range. Nope, same 2 archers that he made going up to Castle Age. So nothing to deny this immediately. The Mangonel was kind of out of position. Yet another relic, not quite making it into this monastery. And the Ghoulam are coming from behind. Does he have the armor upgrades for those? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a single armor upgrade for those Ghoulam, Nili.
Yeah, Ghoulam can't dive. Mangonel out of position as well. That castle will go up.
They get a big Mangonel shot here to even consider taking this fight.
And gets the Ghoulam conversion, so maybe gets the Mangonel behind this one. Needs to run away, Mr. Yo. Ooh!
Good attack round there from Winchester, but he can't quite clear up the crossbows. Did some good early damage. Is now diving with the Ghoulems here, and The pass-through damage is putting in work, but the forward castle is up, and suddenly Winchester is going to see in about a minute that Yo is in Imperial Age with a forward castle, and Yo almost has enough stone for another castle, Nili. And he's punching a hole in the wall. He's thinking maybe I can go even more forward.
And honestly, that monastery positioning not looking too hot anymore.
Another relic! Relic number 3 denied within range of the monastery. He's bringing another one!
And that could be another snipe here. Look at that, 2 in front of it, maybe 3.
Get him! They're blocking the way! Another one!
So close.
I think that's
yet
number
so far.
4, and we see 3 already just hanging out outside the monastery, and Yo is like, that is an express delivery for my monks to come in there and snag those. Oh, baby. Mr. Yo with the double castle setup. He's in Imperial Age now. Winchester looking awfully stressed out. He went for that 4 TC boom, and he is just now clicking up to Imp, and the Golems soon aren't really going to cut it against the organ guns from Yo, and once chemistry comes in, he can make hand cannons too.
Yeah, and also bombard cannons at the front, pressure this area. Now the big question, you know about those 2 castles, there are 3 in total. Which one are you trying to trap first?
That's very difficult. I think it's the one to the right. I think because you can get the trebs set up in between your 2 castles to kind of protect them. Or are you talking from Mr. Yo's perspective? I was thinking from the defending perspective.
Mr. Yo.
Mr. Yo's perspective?
Yeah.
I think it's the one in front of him here.
But you're denying all the food in that area anyways, right? There's not a single farmer working.
But it's also not on, it's not on a hill, so it's easier to take down too.
Agreed.
So it's really tough. Like it's like 50% one, 50% the other. You could make the argument for. I think the one you don't treb is the one on the very left. On that hill.
I'm not even sure if he knows about that one, right? From earlier. Also, doesn't really want to go up there. Now I think one Fatoria dropped. Doesn't even know about it. I think one Fatoria at home. Obviously, a weird building that generates resources for you, worth roughly 11 villagers. Blocks 20 population spot though.
I'd love to see Yo come forward, even make a forward monastery there and just snag those relics right now. He does have the wood for it if he were to choose to go for that. He's still building up organ guns. He's got 4 trebs behind this. Yo's imp time is the fastest recorded on this map so far at 28:13. So I think that it's not a particularly fast imp time. I think it tells us more about the map. People usually play into extended Castle Age wars.
Yeah. We never see 2 TC imp, right? That's typically not a thing on Arabia type map. And this, as I said, is, I believe, even more aggressive. So 2 TC, unheard of, kind of.
What did Hindustanis do against organ gun? You got the castles to protect. Like, it's just so difficult, right? He's going to have to try and raid Yo's base at home. But look at that. Yo wisely goes for a castle at home.
Clever.
He's just like, my only threat now
double Fatoria
is that he's going to get in with these Golem or with camels or light cavalry, hussar, or whatever. I need to go for defensive castles, and it's not like I really need to save the stone because my Fatoria are generating stone for me. I will get enough for another castle, so that's fantastic play from Yo. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter which castle he's going to trap first because both of them are going to go down quite quickly. And Yo now has a massive organ guns. He's got the trebs behind. He's got Fatorias in his own base. Yo is looking completely dominant here.
Winchester goes for the extra range there. Oh, but they didn't.
But the joke arrives just on time.
Extra range for those hand cannoneers here. So Winchester indeed is going for the full switch, goes for massive amount of archery range, but now elite organ guns against those.
Oh god. And you can see the resources for Yo just keep ticking up. That's the 3rd Fatoria that he's placing now. The Golem, converted Golem, is exploring those additional TCs on the other side, and Yo is just like, I will not make any more villagers. I'm going to stay at 87 villagers. I might even throw some vills away. I'm just going to keep making Fatorias. My stone will tick up so I can make defensive castles at home or forward castles if I need to. And it's going to be an incredibly valuable but small army that I'm pushing with.
Yeah, Winchester would have loved to be not a flat earther there at that spot and try to get out of that area. Kind of cornered. What's the situation with the relics at the front? Is Mr. Yo picking them up?
I think he grabbed
grabbed one at one. Okay.
Because there was 2 in the monastery and then 3 outside. So he's got, in addition to 3 Fatoria, he's got 6 relics and the option to grab the others as well.
Dave, perfect example to understand resources destroyed. KD, incredibly close, 45-45.
Oh,
but
God.
still, 7,500 extra kills, and that's basically all buildings.
Yikes. And look at the res collected. Like, Winchester is still ahead, but Yo's not investing into villagers, right? Yo's investing into Fatorias here, and he's getting the passive generation of income from the relics. It's just an incredible composition from him. 23 elite organ guns. The Ghoulems can come in and snipe the Trebs, but I don't know if they can take this battle against the organ guns.
Let's take a look there. Obviously, damage output from the Orions can be quite solid, but some traps have to die.
Oh, these aren't elite Ghoulems either. Oh, jeez, it's a massacre. Only 1 Treb going down. Hand cannons now firing on those organ guns from the other side. So Winchester does have a defensive force, but he knows that he's, like, if Yo has added Fatoria, I don't know if Winchester has found those Fatoria or scouted them at all, but he knows he's on a timer, probably here.
Yeah. Well, he will know, like, soon it's 9 against 0 relics, or even worse, right? So he knows he needs to make something happen.
But it's like relics in addition to more passive income. It's just ridiculous eco setup here for Yo.
And that's an army.
He's all in on gold, too. Like, Yo is 0 on food right now.
What?
He has 3 Fatorias
0
on food.
food? What?
3 Fatorias, soon to be like 11 relics or whatever, and he's 44 on gold.
4 Fatoria, that's blocking 80 population. That's why the overlay at the top feels so wrong, right? 46 military, 67 villagers, but 8 Fatoria blocking 80 population.
38 elite organ guns.
Oh, God.
Disgusting.
Impossible to kill, right?
No, you can't.
Like, bombard cannons could be an option. That's why we see Winchester going for 5 bombard cannons.
Yep.
I think you can defend this if Mr. Yo is slipping up here.
But can you ever, like, win the game? Can you push back to a point where Yo...
Mr. Yo just gets all the upgrades, by the way.
Exactly. Every single upgrade. Guilds coming in. I mean, we might see herbal medicine come in for the organ guns that can't garrison the castle.
I think Arquebus is missing, right?
Yep.
Obviously, it would be like ballistic, so all the projectiles are hitting. Or
only 2 TCs left over for Winchester. I think he's made like 8 this game, and only 2 of them, the 2 most recent that he built, are left over. He's just kind of trying to survive on any edge of the map that he can.
Okay, he got Arquebus, is what the chat is saying.
And did get Arquebus. He's getting Masonry now. Might even get Murder Holes just because. He could get Bombard Tower if this goes late enough.
Redemption is in, block printing is in, so wants to convert those bombard cannons.
You know what? That's a decent army for Winchester, and the mobility is very low for Yo's army, but he does have Arquebus, of course, giving those bombard cannons some ballistics. It doesn't matter if Winchester moves after the shot is fired.
Oh yeah, that's pretty nice. But those organ guns, oh, they're even some big hits.
Nice shots from Winchester. He's getting some more value here. Resources still looking fantastic for Yo. Like, he can replace this army, but it's going to take him time, right?
Siege engineers. Like, Winchester's really outranging right now. Pop 150. Remember, like, every Fatoria kind of takes 9 population away from you, efficiency-wise. So population is way closer than you might think.
Is there an argument for Yo to add in, like, Cavalier?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
It is very typical.
Oh, Treb's getting some hits. Bomber Cannon's getting some hits. Winchester forced to retreat, and he has to pay constant attention. He cannot take any bad trades here. Like, he cannot. He needs to preserve this army. Mr. Yo is just clicking and hoping for the best, and those shots are coming in. Oh, 3 Bomber Cannons going down. Winchester is in trouble.
Oh, but return kills. 2 down there, most expensive unit in the game, the bombard cannon, and they're trading off massively.
And Winchester is just trying to hold on, doing whatever he can. Yo is queuing up some more organ guns, some more bombard cannons. He's continuing to clear that left side of the map, and he's just kind of patrolling in these organs on this side, so Winchester's going to get some good kills. But Mr. Yo can always just reproduce this army. It's incredibly valuable, but he's got the Fatorias ticking up behind. He's got 9 relics in now, already 3K relic gold, only 45 minutes into the game. Mr. Yo is steamrolling. Winchester is doing a fantastic job to survive, but that's all he can do.
And look at that. Bought endless amount of resources here, right? Look at that. Only 3 on wood as well. What is happening here, Mr. Yo?
He's just counting on the Fatoria for everything, I guess. Winchester trying to find some value here with the organ guns. Those trees are a little bit annoying for Yo. He's got all those farms and no villagers on the farms as he goes for another castle in the center. He even got redemption and manages to convert a bombard cannon. And now he's just had enough. He's like, I'm not going to pick away. I'm not going to fight these nerdy little battles with you. I'm coming in, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
And he is dealing with it, though. Look at that. Bombard cannon, like 2 shots, and organ guns are dying here, and those are more going down.
I honestly,
Winchester's fine.
I honestly think that's a fine trade for Yo, though, because what is it going to cost Winchester to remake all of those bomber cannons?
Well, you can still move. Look at the minimap. There are 3 extra golds here at the right-hand side as well. Like, Winchester can continue like this. He's taking into Hassa pretty soon. His food eco is obviously way better than Mr. Yo's. I think Winchester's making a hold happen here.
Okay, he's going for light cav. He's going for camels. Maybe Yo has one too many Fatorias, taking up pop space.
Yeah, I think
he's
so
not even pop capped right now. And he's kind of diving in again. He's looking for the bomber cannons, but the hand cannons are doing work. Maybe it's possible, Nili. With 2,000 gold in the bank and 34 on gold for Mr. Yo, 4 Fatorias, maybe a comeback is possible here from Winchester as he's finding the castle on the right side for Mr. Yo.
Oh, and the villagers have to be pulled away.
Yep, big raids, and Yo's in a weird position where he has to be careful that his villager count doesn't drop even with those Fatorias, because ooh, he will still need wood if he wants to keep up constant production, and if he goes on to light cav, he's still going to need food coming in.
Winchester has no business in this game. He lost everything. He lost like 6 town centers, 3 castles. He lost all his relics at the front. How is he in this game? He's taking the population lead.
He is. Even with 4 Fatoria taking up 80 population, Yo just has nothing behind. He's only got 2 organ guns in the queue. He just doesn't have the wood that he needs to keep producing them. I think Yo needs a reset. Like, he's still in a great position here. He just needs a mental reset and just kind of balance his eco once again if he gets the time from Winchester.
It's still 10 relics, right?
Yeah. 10 relics and 4 Fatorias. Like, we're excited because there's a window that we can see. It's open. Winchester has opened it for himself. Or maybe Yo has opened it for Winchester.
Yeah.
It's there. It's just whether he can capitalize on it. And eventually, if this keeps on going the way it's going currently and Yo continues to hold those 3 castles, Winchester will run out of extra resources. And Mr. Yo will have technically like infinite resources here.
Yo gets 11th relic. I think I've never seen that.
11 relics on graveyards.
For one player. Yeah.
That's crazy. And Yo sneaks back out to that castle. The light caver's still there, but he's going to get that up, and that'll control a stone and a gold over on that side. Is still going for some more bomber cannons, and Winchester needs to keep his eye on that army. Good hit there from that bomber cannon, I believe, getting a lot of HP damage. Yo will need to back away for the time being, but he's keeping the castle alive.
How many kills does that castle have? It's like quite some hand cannons already down. 15. Those are costly units.
Oh, and another bomber cannon goes down there. Yo is just picking away. Another bomber cannon down. This guy already has 2 kills.
Hiding behind the castle there.
Light cav coming in. Organ guns coming in from the other side, though, and the hand cannons are dying. Winchester can't afford to lose his hand cannon mass, and he can't afford to lose these bomber cannons either.
Weird question. What are we thinking about Arbalest here for Mr. Yo? He has wood, he has gold. He could tag into it. Gold reduction as well as massive.
Ooh, big shot, maybe? No, Winchester dodges around that. I think, honestly, like Cavalier would give him so much value.
Okay,
because the organs are kind of accomplishing what Arbalest would. Obviously, they're less mobile.
Yeah. Oh, that bombard cannon's going down. One still left there at the top. Get some shots in. But organs dying again.
Yep. More bomber cannons on the way for Vinch, though. Like, he has lost a lot of wood and gold and bomber cannons, but like you said, there's tons of extra resources on graveyards, and Yo has not taken control of any of that right corner of the map.
Yeah.
So Winchester will keep mining gold over there.
Organ gun raid.
Here they come.
But Lightcav already coming for the defense as well. Winchester spread so thin. 52 minutes into the game, he still can't afford Hassa.
Oh, man. The monks behind are huge here for Yo. The castle did go down, which is interesting because the bomber cannons were out of range of that.
I'm a bit surprised as well.
Did he delete that?
No, I think it was just the shot and he backed off. Like, instant reaction, he trusted the damage output from his own bombard cannons.
Oh, interesting. The no-looker. The fadeaway. Monk trying to get the conversion, finally gets stoned by some cannonballs there as the organ guns are being cleared up in the back, but there's still 40 of them. These are elite organ guns, folks. And Yo also had a bomber cannon behind this. He's going to try and get some shots on the bomber cannons from Winchester. Can he find an angle here? Winchester's still getting big shots of his own. Mr. Yo is clumping up there for the bomber cannon shots. He is killing Light Cav.
Oh, now the shots are coming in here, right-hand side. Those are some organ guns dying here. Hand cannoneers are falling at the same time. Oh, there's one, a good one.
And there's a monk coming from the right. Winchester needs to be very careful about that. He cannot get these converted. The organ guns are still pressing onwards. Winchester needing to retreat. It's just a constant retreat for him in this game, it seems like. He had a moment there where he was pushing back, but Mr. Yo has recovered. And Mr. Yo's lost another army, so maybe it's another pushback period for Winchester here.
One bombard cannon converted here. What a crazy game we are witnessing, Dave.
I don't know how Vinch is surviving this. I think it's just Yo not having his eco fully set up.
It is simply the map design as well, right? On Arabia,
yep, true.
We would be out of gold. But this map has gold scattered around everywhere. Map control is so important. And although Yo got all the relics with the map control, the control at the right-hand side was not there, and that's the comeback mechanic for Winchester.
It almost seems like Yo is perfectly fine with all of this that's happening, as long as they can just keep tossing units into the meat grinder here, because he knows he's going to outlast Winchester eventually.
Yeah. Like, also, like, the 11 relics, it's just redonkulous, right?
Look at that relic income already, 6.1k. We're not even an hour in.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, Winchester started with all the relic control as well, right? He had 5 relics at home.
Okay, those were some not great trades there for Yo. He takes a villager in exchange for like 3 bombard cannons. So Winchester doing a great job. Yo getting a little bit complacent maybe with those units. Still some farmers over on that left side, and Yo's noticing that and taking care of it. Winchester, still plenty of gold, plenty of stone to take, and he's pushing forward once again, getting lots of kills here with his bombards.
43 kills with those bombards? Are you kidding me?
35
with that group.
That's wild, and he's been losing bombards all game too. Like,
and that's only organs that he killed basically, right?
Yeah, organs
Holy
and bombard
snipers.
cannons, yeah. There hasn't been anything else forward.
Holy snipers.
Yo is doing a good job raiding in the farming eco that's still on the left from Winchester and also on the right there. Fantastic.
Winchester only now got the first armor upgrade for his hand cannoneers.
Oh! Big shots on the organs, and Winchester is now sending in the cavalry. He's got 6 bomber cannons behind this. Yo can't deal with that. That's another fallen castle in a second here.
Yeah, sends in the villagers. There will be wasted stone. And honestly, Winchester has enough stone, could have some chance to get this hill and get his own castle up.
Castle goes down. Castle goes down. Yo is still raiding in the back of Winchester's eco. Winchester down to 144 pop now, Nili. This is getting slightly concerning, but he still has food in the bank. He still has some hand cannons. He still has 7 bombard cannons, and now Yo has lost that castle in the center, further opening up the map for Winchester, but he has to be worried about these little blue dots on the minimap heading into the north, because that economy is going to be very exposed without the hand cannons nearby.
Yeah, and he's raiding from the left and the right-hand side at the top, right? And now we're getting into this weird scenario where Mr. Yo is buying food and or selling wood and food, and Winchester, he also generates gold that way. So it's going to be interesting. Most of the time, the player with a better economy wins here, but I can't even judge who is ahead in economy.
Yeah, Winchester, that bomber cannon setup is so brutal, especially behind the trees there. And Yo has like no mobility, finally going into Cavalier here. But remember, he does have the food income. He did have a lot of food in the bank. He's using that for the techs, and he doesn't have any villagers on food currently, so he can only make a limited amount of Cavalier.
Yeah, like 0 on food, obviously. It will be quite tricky. And he can just save them, though, right? Not show them once you get
Winchester
to 20.
needs to pay attention here. If he just right-click that castle, Yo could get a lot of value with this bomber cannon. He already gets 1.
Micro.
He gets 2. 3, almost. It's a good shot, and he's got organs coming from the other side. Winchester just needs to keep his eye on this bomber cannon.
And Cannoneers committing.
And monks. 4 monks as well behind this, Nili.
Oh, this will be a hold.
He needs to be very careful, and he's so super distracted on the right side too. Winchester has to pick where he's paying attention to. That's a big army of organs, and the cannons now are being pushed back. They have absolutely no support. The hand cannons are going down. The bomber cannons are in full retreat, and Yo still has a castle alive, and Yo is now cutting off like the only wood access I think that Winchester has.
Oh, yeah, it feels like some at the top still, but more raids are coming in from the left. Now the monks are chasing away the bombard cannons. Lightcap coming over for the defense. Winchester is getting pushed everywhere. Ground attack, but the monks stop walking.
That's the doubt signature move. You just don't move. And you dodge the shots from Winchester there. The organs are still pushing in though, and that's a great raid from Yo over on the right side. And Winchester, I mean, it's been an impressive hold. I would have, if you had asked me, will Winchester survive for another 30 minutes? I'd say like no, no way, no chance. And he's made it somewhat competitive, but now Cavalier are in, Oregons are literally into the eco, and the bomber cannons are dead, and I think Winchester has to call this, and it's just a super impressive game plan for Mr. Yo.
And one of the main stories is, look at the eco KD. More than 100 villagers killed. You can't kill villagers if Mr. Yo doesn't have any, right?
Yep.
He has the for Victorious. He can kill that building, but it's so much tougher to get there.
That's my favorite strat.
Kill Victorious?
No, I just don't have any vills. That
okay.
You thought you could raid.
Poor Vinci, and yeah, he knows that he delivered a great set. Still extremely promising going through this one, and had 2 heartbreaking losses at the start of NAC.
And just Yo managing to scrape his way through yet another 5-game series, right? And we saw both of those players playing at such a fantastic level. Yo with a graveyards approach that I haven't seen before. 11 relics you haven't seen before, and you've watched a whole lot of graveyards 1v1. And that is just crazy. Yo is one of the best in the world, the best to ever do it. Winchester gave him a run for his money. He was even up 2-1 there, but Yo managing the comeback. And we are only done our first set of the day. Yet another 5-game set. We've got 4 more today, and we're going to be talking to Mr. Yo. Do you want to go talk?
I think we both have a break, right?
Okay.
So let's go over there, and Mr. Yo with the winner interview. It's going to be. You want to send it over? Okay.
With Tiramis, follow him.
Oh God, Mr. Yo, so good. Like that last game, I don't understand it at all. And he basically tells Dave where to sit. And do we have microphone? We have one. Now production will get nervous behind the scenes. Typically, I'm the one. Oh, we have 2. Okay, then I will give you that, and we'll catch my next one. You can start the questioning. Oh, you have to, Dave, turn them on, maybe. Maybe.
Oh, we turned them on.
Oh, hello, Dave.
Really?
And Mr. Yo.
Dave muted.
Okay.
I just got to live up to the meme sometime. Another 5-game set.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, you love being here. There we go.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. It's obviously all me and not the fact you just won against Winchester. He was up 2-1. It looked kind of concerning there, but you managed to bring it back. I want to get to Game 5 because that was just like that's something I haven't seen before on graveyards. But we'll start off with game number 1. I believe it was on Arabia. And you were Chinese against his Franks, right?
Yes.
You only had 1 wood line there on that map, and it was extremely open. How did you approach, once you scouted your map, how did you approach your game plan?
It was actually quite easy to wall. And he was sending some archers to my wood in the back and trying to harass my economy, but it didn't work. And I think Chinese in late game just much better than Franks. And so when I find out he stopped attacking and making TC back at home, I know I'm gonna have to be aggressive and take the game back. And he was not walling at all. I don't know why.
Yeah, we were asking the same question. I mean, you got +2 early. Did you get +2 early because you saw that his base was like full open?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. And you punished him super hard. I think that engagement right there, you lost the skirmishers early, so that could have been concerning, right? Your berries were still at the front there. You obviously needed food. But once you got to this stage of the game, you had massive advantage in upgrades. And then what was the feeling when you saw that castle placement? I mean, it just seems so perfect, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know by then the game is over. That was an ending castle. just making resign.
What else could he have done instead of wall? Because now you see the mini map, right? And there were no real natural walls. Like he had so few wood lines.
Yeah, the thing about walling is you have to do it early. Like you have to plan about it, and you don't get to wall like in middle of the castle age. Is too hard. And meanwhile, I have so many army. I don't think he can do a proper defend there, except making tons of monks, maybe more monks.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's an option. And now we are going into this scenario. Such an interesting scenario. How can you defend here? Did you think you made any mistakes, or was it just Winchester with the pure aggression?
Yeah, of course. Look at the mistake. I lost to Mangonel in a one shot.
I was bad.
Yeah.
You were lucky here, though, that he didn't notice that.
I suck, man. If I win I win that Mangonel shot. I think I can win this game.
Yeah, it looked like it. But also against Britons, he has more range on those crossbow, right? It's not always easy to take the fight there.
Actually, it doesn't matter because you will never want to force a Mangonel fight with human because they're nice move faster. It's too easy to raid their economy while they're busy defending. You just go on with your Mangonel, just attack.
I think some other players would have played Step Lancers here. What made you choose Knights?
My economy was really bad. Step Lancer, you need
Lots
certain
of
amount.
Yeah.
And he already had lots of army crossbow. I just didn't see it would work. But maybe that's a good choice because I was raiding anyway, and Step Lancer was a better raiding unit, I think.
Were you surprised by the imp timing from him?
Not really,
Okay.
because I knew my economy is really behind.
Well, I mean, Winchester went for the longbows. I saw it. I've seen it not work a lot of times on this map, but he made it work there with the imp timing and the forward castle, of course, and you just couldn't find an area to get gold. And then we head on to this game, and Winchester playing as Mongols counters you with 4 men-at-arms. Did you expect that defense from him?
No, I was expecting something like Archer or Scouts. The four men are really caught me on guard and won him the game.
Do you think it's tricky to scout on this map? Because like you were caught off guard by the men-at-arm opening, you were caught off guard by this Archer raid. What could you have done to get more scouting intel?
I think by the time his Archer went into my base, it was all about economy, really, because my economy was damaged and I lost the initial aggression due to his men-at-arms. So I have to stay in base, and it's really hard to defend back at home without maybe more outposts, but outposts cost you wood. That will make my economy way worse. It's not worth it,
Okay.
I think.
What's it like mentally when you lose your home map? And you're suddenly like 1 game away from losing a set, but you drafted specifically for that map, right? Like you went Bulgarians, you thought you were going to hit that. What is it like going into the next game? Do you still feel the pressure, or do you have enough experience now where you?
Well, after I lost this game, I was like, shit. Can I say that?
Yes.
Well, you already said it, so you don't have to
Oh,
apologize.
Sorry. I was like,
Minus 10% price pool.
I was like, Jesus.
No, that one's good. No, we can't say that one either.
No, no religion, please.
No?
No.
Oh my.
You're allowed to say Taiwan here.
What? No. Don't talk about it.
My bad.
I was kind of panicked after losing the game 3, but in next game I had burgers, and in my opinion, is the best save of that map.
Only because of the faster villagers or other bonuses?
Faster villager, because it's kind of like
I mean, it's a perfect example here. Is that villager survived, right?
Yeah.
like
Get out of my face.
you can always get something,
Yeah.
when you put those 3 wheels forward.
Did you train this map before the tournament? Like,
Train?
how did your training work? Like, did you, for example, I think, like, Lux playing a villager rush against you to maybe get a feeling how
I only
facing villager
played
rushes?
1 villager rush, and it was versus Jordan,
Yeah.
and nothing more.
Okay, so you didn't think about it that much more. Interesting. And now we have seen you play. You got a lot of damage here with the men-at-arms. How far do you think you were ahead at that point?
A little bit, because I did loom early, and I think my economy was really bad. So I'm quite happy killing 1 wheel. I should have killed that one, to be honest.
It is
Did you expect him to open scouts there? Is that why you sent the 2 spearmen forward?
Yeah,
You're kind of surprised he opened archer range with Hindustanis?
most player who play India would start with scouts, right? And he was luring deer. I see the score, and I know he wasn't going something like fancy man-at-arm or something like that.
At this point, when you scouted in with the skirms and you saw the 2 archer ranges,
Yeah.
did you think he would commit to the archers? Was
No.
he A or?
I knew he was kind of faking it because he has 2 stable as well, and he was making 1 TC. Like, you can't do all this stuff, you know? So.
But
I
it
know.
could have been the fake of not using the stables.
Yeah, it could be, but anyway, I didn't have much army. So.
Are you getting set up, guys? Liereyy, Hera?
Yeah, but the chair doesn't fit. It's fine. You guys finish.
No, move it over here.
Now you're already committed. Help!
Cameraman, go on. No, don't.
Let's lift. I want to see how he does it.
Okay, by the way, replays continued. You got into a spot here, and you played the 2 TC on a super open map. Why was that?
It's kind of my only choice because if I
Let's take the microphone.
sorry, it was kind of my only choice. If I keep on doing economy, I don't think I will ever catch up. Like I have to do something risky.
Oh, were you behind?
I think I was behind.
Why? What
No.
happened?
He was behind by a bunch of villagers.
Yeah.
Vinch went for the
of course.
third and fourth
He was
TC
Indian.
really early.
He was Indian.
Yeah, but the decision is earlier, no? Okay, so you thought you were behind because he had the extra TCs earlier?
No, I mean, I didn't add more TC because I know I was behind. And I have to be aggressive. I have to fast aim to get a chance to win. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and he was pushing you back quite nicely, right? Bombard cannon shots were coming in here. Hand cannoneers felt like an answer. Were you ever scared in the situation, even though it was late game?
Kind of. I have no idea how he got that much gold until I see the 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
That was late. But then I felt it was really dangerous, yes. And he was microing really well and moving his cannon from my monks and my onion guns.
Were you kind of uncomfortable at some moments, like when he clears up the army and then you see you have 0 on wood?
Yeah.
And there's
yeah,
like
I saw
nothing
it.
there and you have 0 on food and it's just kind of like, oh my god, maybe I built 1 too many. Fatoria, I don't have enough villagers left.
How many I had?
You had 4.
Only 4?
See,
You-
Nili's
you
like,
wanted-
he
you
built
wanted
4,
more?
and Yo's like, only 4.
I thought I have 6 or 5.
What? I thought you had so much army. How do you think?
Well, it's the last game, you know. Much pressure.
Okay. How much pressure are you feeling in that game?
Pressure.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, nice. Are you like shaking or is it only internally?
No, I'm not shaking. I'm just feeling, I have to win this. I have to win this.
Okay, nice. And you won it, right? It was 2 really close sets
Yes.
yesterday and today. How are you feeling now?
Happy, of course. And I feel like I need to train more.
You need to train more.
Yeah.
Where do you need to improve?
I got surprised by the man arm from Mongol. I got surprised from Nikov's Mongol. And I just hate to be surprised.
Okay, and how do you prepare to not be surprised? Is it just playing games?
Yeah, of course. Trying different strategy and maybe thinking a little bit more.
Are you going to watch every other set today?
If I don't fall asleep, yeah. Because I did yesterday.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, sleeping rhythm is obviously still pretty ruined, right? Okay, then thank you so much, Mr. Yo.
Thank you.
And good luck with the rest of the tournament. You're obviously going through 2-0, so that means you will face someone who is also 2-0. That could be still 4 different
We don't know
people.
yet.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Taking the first on the leaderboard there, Winchester. After 2 crazy performances, Dave, Winchester goes down at the last place.
And
That's
it feels,
pretty sick.
it's almost a situation where it feels kind of unfair because he played really well.
Yeah,
you know, but at the end of the day, you're matching up against, who did he play first day? He played against
TaToH, no?
TaToH, and then you're playing against Yo.
Yeah.
Like, that's so difficult.
Yeah.
Right? And he takes it to 5
5 games
both
times. Yeah, he's -2 in the map score.
Yeah.
Right? 2-3, 2-3 for him. And he gets 3 Buchholz now. That's the score of all the opponents he faced. Gets 2 from Mr. Yo, gets 1 from TaToH. But TaToH has another match later tonight against Liereyy, I think. Our main event there. And pretty soon we will jump into ACCM versus Nicov.